第3排起步的将会是240号车手赵子俊以及206号车手的赵子麟。赵云清将会从第7位来起跑，在他身旁呢将会是中国澳门的本土选手刘思鸾。好，我们这边已经看到的是我们的选手们都是已经来到了最后一弯，我们的今天的第1场预赛马上就将打响。
Danny Caranini from pole position was able to give us 2 brilliant victories yesterday to put himself into a dominant position. So let's see if he can continue the winning streak today. Drivers getting themselves ready into the tram lines. Are we going to go under starters orders straight away? No, false start. So already the repeater lights come on. And a few of the drivers not yet ready to get themselves underway. We've had an issue there from the 218 having a problem. That was Tam Chanhua, the 23-year-old driver from here in Macau, having a bit of an issue off the start. So now everybody going to go round one more time to get ourselves warmed up. Danny Caranini, pole position from Danish Chen, and then Zadia Braikal, Rafael Kamal. And then we've got Zhao Zijun of the SJM Theodore team. 206 is next in the mix. That's the 7 rings driver, Zhao Jilin. And then we have 3 ladies on the 4th and 5th row of the grid between them. Zhao Yunqing, who is doing a grand job for the Xingang Racing Team, the 17-year-old from China. Then we have Vernice Lau, the Macanese racer, 210 on the starting grid. Only 15 years of age for the IAMC Karting Academy, doing a grand job. And then, of course, there is the lady from Hong Kong, Summer Mok, 214. And she is being coached by Audrey Leong, who's doing a fantastic job in the world of touring car and sports car racing, as well as coaching in the world of karting. But these rows of drivers getting themselves ready back into position. Let's see who is going to get the best of it. Danny Caranini dominated yesterday, 2 wins out of 2. Can he make it 3 this morning? He's certainly going to have big opposition with the likes of Danish Chen, Zadia Braikal, Rafael Kamal and Zhao Zijun pushing him all the way in the tram lines. Are we going to race? Yes, we are! Great dive to the first corner. Caranini and Raikal have gone strong as we go into the first corner. Tucking up nicely through turn 1. Couple of drivers sliding through, but it's all okay for Raikal and Zhao to follow in behind Caranini. Big dive to the inside as Raikal tries to put himself up in the inside of Caranini. Has to bail out of it. Couple of drivers going for big choice moves. That's Zhao Yunqing going through on the inside line as we go up towards turn 4. Everybody pitching a movement on the inside line. Couple of overtaking moves coming, perhaps in the midfield, and there's a squabble. 2 karts have come together there on the exit of turn 4, and that's 2 races already compromised.
在比赛的开场，我们可以看到丹尼卡雷尼尼现在依然是处在领先的位置，而中后方应该是有2位选手的赛车是发生了碰撞。现在呢，他们应该是能够重新回到比赛当中，但是现在他们已经是落到了车阵的末尾。好，我们现在看到比赛马上已经完成了第1圈，现在丹尼卡雷尼尼依然是守在领先的位置，而从第3位发车的扎里耶夫雷克尔现在是上到了第2位，赵子俊是来到第3，而赵子麟现在是在第4。 而从头排起步的埃文圈现在是落到第5位。正如我们昨天所看到的那样，从赛道右侧来进行发车的选手呢，通常都会在发车的时候呢，并不占据抓地力上面的优势。所以我们现在看到埃文圈现在已经落到了第5的位置。而现在在领先集团，我们看到扎里耶夫雷克尔是依然是紧随前方的丹尼卡雷尼尼，2位车手将会为领先的位置来发起角逐。
Raikal and Zhao are being very smart indeed today. They are not racing each other. They're just tucking in behind Danny Caranini, allowing him no breathing room at all. Caranini drifts out a little wide. Raikal gets his opportunity to hunt him down in the final bend. Now they'll go down the straight. He'll have the slipstream. Going into turn 1, he's pushing away from Zhao. As now Caranini and Raikal are going to play the long game. Will he go for the overtaking move? Yes, he does. Raikal to the inside. The Malaysian gets ahead of the Italian. And Zadia Braikal heads Danny Caranini. Caranini now knows he's got Zhao and Zhao Jilin for close company as well. So this is not going to be an easy one up the inside. Zhao gets through. Zhao Jilin goes with him. Caranini all the way down to P4.
在2号弯，扎里耶夫雷克尔是对领先的丹尼卡雷尼尼是发动了进攻，并且扎里耶夫雷克尔现在是已经上到了领先的位置，而丹尼卡雷尼尼似乎是受到了节奏上的一些影响，他现在是先后被赵子俊和赵子麟所超越，现在丹尼卡雷尼尼已经落到了第4的位置，并且似乎已经被身前的3位选手所抛开。现在看到比赛马上进入到第3圈，这边丹尼卡雷尼尼现在是落到第4位，并且似乎也要被身后的埃文胜所追击。现在扎里耶夫雷克尔是处在全场领先的位置。
What a difference 24 hours makes. Caranini's really struggling as now here comes Rafael Kamal. Caranini's going backwards down to B5, and now we've got Danish Chen hunting him down as well. Caranini really having problems here. On only lap 4, he's dropped all the way to B5 as now Zhao gets the move there. That's Zhao Zijun battling away with Zhao Jilin for 2nd place. The 2 of them having a very tough race out there. That's SJM Theodore versus 7 Rings. The two teams really going at it. Zhao Zhijun is overtaken, but back on the inside again to retaliate. Zhao Zhilin really wants it. Now on the inside comes Kamal. They bang wheels, and Rafael Kamal squeezes through in a second place. Great opportunism from Rafael Kamal. He squeezes through, and now he's into second position ahead of Caranini, Zhao Zhilin, Danish Chen, and Zhao Zhijun. But Rafael Kamal gets back in a second position. Great work.
第二位的争夺是愈发的激烈，两位中国车手赵子麟和赵子俊之间的争斗，目前是让拉斐尔卡马尔是上到了第二的位置，而目前看到赵子俊和赵子麟现在也是在争夺名次。现在两位车手之间看起来又是发生了一次轮对轮的碰撞，现在进入到弯角当中，赵子俊现在也是要来进行一个防守的动作。接下来我们看到拉斐尔卡马尔在上升到第二位之后，也是需要来追击身前的扎里耶夫雷克尔，而丹尼卡雷尼尼现在也是重新回到了第三位。
Chen goes for the unlikely move on Zhao Zhilin. They both back up, and as a result, Zhao Zhijun is able to move up in a fourth position. So it's Raikal leading, Kamal is clear in second, Caranini third. Then it is Zhao Zhijun back in a fourth place ahead of Chen, Zhao Zhilin, Zhao Yunchin, Sun Yibei, Bernie Slau, and Chen Boru. Summer Mock still doing a fair job in 11th place in front of Daniel Chegai. And then we've got Shamu Xuan in front of Li, Zhu, Li, Tao, Tam, Zhang, and Lo. But it's really tricky stuff now. Look at the gesticulations from the drivers further back, trying their best to keep up with Zhao Yunqing. That is Sun Yibei getting really irritated with Bernie Slau and Chen Boru. Stop racing me. We need to catch up to these guys in front of us. But Bernie Slau has obviously got her own race to focus on. She wants to make progress, but it's really tricky to make that work. Zadia Braikal has got 1.6 now on Kamal. Caranini is making a bit of a comeback bid here as he tries now to close up on Rafael Kamal. But Kamal has got the legs. Zhao Zhijun, Danish Chen, and Zhao Zhilin are going to be battling away here for fourth position all the way.
此前多车对于第二位的缠斗，现在是让250号车手扎里耶夫雷克尔是已经手握了超过1秒钟的优势，但是拉斐尔卡马尔目前处在第二位的选手，他在上一圈是做到46.888的全场最快单圈，目前是在不断的追击身前的扎里耶夫雷克尔。丹尼卡雷尼尼现在依然是处在第3位，赵子俊在此前是完成了对于 Danish Ivan Chen 的一个超越，现在是重新回到第4位。Ivan Chen 现在是在第5，赵子麟是排在第6，赵云清目前是在第7的位置，孙一北是排在第8。 刘思銮现在是在第9、第10位的是陈柏如，而现在我们看到排在第2位的拉斐尔卡马尔是在不断的追击身前的扎里耶夫雷克尔。比赛现在是进入到半程阶段，上一圈拉斐尔卡马尔依然是要比扎里耶夫雷克尔要来得更快一些，两台赛车之间的差距现在是缩小到了1秒钟。
Zaria Braikal really has found the ultimate rhythm now to get clear of Kamal. Caranini still going strong. Zhao Zhijun, Danish Chen, and Zhao Zhilin still trying to settle their own differences for fourth position. Zhao Yunqing driving very smartly. Oh, big opportunity. Zhao Zhijun has a little bit of pressure from Danish Chen. Chen trying to cut back to the inside line and make the gap. It hasn't worked out, and now he's going to have to be careful. Zhao Zhilin wants an opportunity to get into P5, and those two have already gone to broke. Big dive from Zhilin. Can't make it happen, so Zhao Zhilin has to wait. Danish Chen now dialing up the move again on Zhao Zhijun for the SJM Deonov Prema squad. And as we come across the line with 4 to go, Kamal is closing up on Raikal. Caranini has the fastest lap of them all. So if Caranini can tag onto the back and make a little bit of a play here with Rafael Kamal, the two of them could still catch Raikal before the end. Meanwhile, Danish Chen is trying to dial up another move on Zhao Zhijun with Zhao Zhilin in P6, just waiting for his time to bounce.
目前我们镜头当中给到的就是第4位的一个争夺，赵子俊目前需要来防守身后的 Danish Ivan Chen。Ivan Chen 在此前是跌落名次之后呢，现在是想重新尝试向前来发动进攻。目前赵子俊呢依然是处在第4位 ，Danish Ivan Chen 现在是处在第5，而身后的赵子麟同样是紧随其后，想要抓住机会来提升名次。而在领先集团，我们现在看到的是丹尼卡雷尼尼在上一圈是做到了全场最快单圈46.658。 他在不断的追击身前的扎里耶夫雷克尔和拉斐尔卡马尔，目前全场前3位的车手马上也将跑在一起。而这边我们看到的是赵子俊，依然是防守身后的 Danish Ivan Chen， 目前依然是处在第4的位置。
This isn't over for the win yet. Caranini is right up tucked behind Rafael Kamal, and he's banged in yet another new fastest lap. A brilliant 46.668 for him now. So definitely going quicker, but Zadia Braikal still doing a fair job to lead this one. These three are tightening up again. Danish Chen wants to go for the move on Zhao Zhijun, but now it looks pretty tricky. Caranini making the dive on Kamal for second position. He hasn't been able to make it, so he's got to try and make it work in the last 2 laps. Here's Caranini on the back of Rafael Kamal. He's going to have the slipstream. Through turn 1. He'll have his chance up towards turn 2. Can Caranini dive and go for second place? Here he goes. Caranini on the inside. Kamal defends. Holds his line. And Caranini's there. Kamal has to slip back behind the Italian. And that's really held them both up. They're not going to be able to catch Raikkonen before the end now.
丹尼卡雷尼尼在过去几圈的追击态势，现在已经帮助他能够追上拉斐尔卡马尔，并且在2号弯完成了超越。现在卡雷尼尼是重新回到第2的位置，那么他距离身前的扎里耶夫雷克尔只有不到1秒钟的差距，想必他一定要在比赛最后的2圈要去追击目前领跑的扎里耶夫雷克尔。而雷克尔现在依然是处在自己的一个节奏当中，他是否有机会在本周末他个人的第3场比赛当中取得第1场预赛胜利？比赛马上将进入到最后的1圈。
1 lap to go then for the Malaysian, but 0.8 of a second is just far too much for the Italian to try and gain on the Malaysian unless the mistake comes on the final lap. So Danny Caranini still pushing, hoping he can get the toe on the Malaysian up front. But the very impressive youngster, 15 years of age from Kuala Lumpur, holding on to it at the moment. He got a victory earlier in the year in the Infinity IAME Series Asia competition, won the 3rd round very contentiously at LYL, but he's been very much a solid force in the senior X30 category all season long. And even the great Danny Caranini is not able to catch him. He's doing the best he can. He's trying to gain a 10th there, but he's going to run out of time. Zadia Raikkonen is going to come through and get the victory in front of Danny Caranini and Rafael Kamal. Great start to the day for Zadia Raikkonen. Zhao Zijun is 4th from Danish Chen, Zhao Jilin, Zhao Yunqing, Sun Yifei, Bernice Lau, Chen Boru and Summer Mok.
扎里耶夫雷克尔在我们的 Senior 成年组 B 组 F 组的第3轮预赛当中是笑到了最后，他是成功拿到了他本周末的第1个预赛的胜利。丹尼卡雷尼尼在比赛的中段一度是跌落名次，但是他在比赛后期是再度的可以说是追回到了领先集团，并且最终是以第2位来完赛。拉斐尔卡马尔最终是以第3位冲线，而赵子俊是完成了对于身后 Danish Ivan Chen 的一个防守，最终是以第4位冲线。Ivan Chen 是以第5位冲线，赵子麟收获第6。在后方的车手当中，我们可以看到257号车手赵云清是以第7位完赛，孙一本是收获第8，刘思鸾最终是以第9位完赛，陈柏如是获得第10。
Very strong start indeed to the day then for Zadiev Raikkonen, and never easy to make it work. I'm going to have a quick word with the Malaysian. Zadiev, that's a very positive start after a very interesting day yesterday. It was very hot yesterday. Today much cooler. Does that suit you in the Paralympic better?
It doesn't make a big difference, but hopefully it does make a big difference for us.
You started strong yesterday, being able to go up against the likes of Danny Caranini and Rafael Kamal. How difficult is this day? To go up against the likes of Danny Caranini and Rafael and be up there at the front end and hold the nerve. Are the tyres coping okay in these conditions, or are they going to be a little bit tough to manage through the day?
Probably, the tyres is probably good for us. It's not a big deal since yesterday we had the DNF, but helped us a lot with this heat today. But let's see what we can do later on.
We're expecting some potential rain about 2 p.m. Do you think that's going to cause problems, or are you guys prepared for it?
I'm prepared for it.
Now that DNF is a big problem in terms of the results, but in terms of the tyres, it actually gives you a stronger kart for today long term. Do you think you can take advantage of that?
Hopefully, yes.
Good one, mate. Well done.
Thank you.
A very good start for Zadiev Raikkonen, the youngster from Kuala Lumpur. Never says too much, but he does all his talking out on the track. We can see already now we're getting to the mid stages of the heats, and I kind of want to have a look at the tyres while we see these guys come through. We're going to see a few of the competitors come through. The big difference in today's action is going to be tyre wear. Check out as the karts come through, we can see just how much the tyres are graining, and it is starting to get a little bit interesting. Don't forget that this year the track has been completely resurfaced, so the week started very, very greasy and very slippery, but over the course of the last 48 hours, the track is getting much grippier. The rubber's starting to go down a bit now. But if we get rain about 2 p.m., well, that's going to change. A little bit of water with a little bit of surface rubber, it basically becomes like oil. Today is going to be a real challenge for everybody around about Heat 4, Heat 5 in Senior X30. For now, though, let's carry on with Heat 3.
那么在完成了我们 Senior 成年组的周六的第一场预赛之后呢，我们稍后将会进入到我们 Senior 成年组 C 组和 E 组的第3轮的预赛角逐。那么在这场比赛当中呢，我们将会有27位选手来共同的参与到争夺。那么在这场比赛当中，从杆位来进行出发的将会是234号选手 Dylan Tan。他在昨天的进行的个人的第2轮预赛当中呢，是拿到了第3的成绩。那么今天他势必也会希望向个人本周末的第1个预赛胜利来发起冲击。而在他身旁来进行起跑的将会是261号车手陈玉琪。那么也是在亚米中国系列赛以及亚米亚洲赛场上都有非常杰出表现的一位选手。他在昨天的第1轮预赛当中呢是获得了亚军，但是在第2轮预赛的第1圈是遭遇到了一起比赛的事故，那么让他在这个最后的阶段呢是重新追回到第9的名次。那么在今天这样一位具备争冠实力的选手呢，势必也希望向个人本周末的第1场胜利来发起冲击。在他们身后的将会是2位在昨天取得过预赛胜利的选手，225号车手阿伦加西亚洛佩兹。他在第1场预赛的过程当中呢，是非常遗憾的遭遇到了机械的故障，所以没有办法完成第1场比赛。但是在第2场预赛，他是卷土重来，拿下了个人的首场预赛胜利。那么在他身旁的奥托皮科宁是在这个第1轮预赛当中是拿到了胜利，但是在第2轮预赛当中，同样也是卷入到了1号弯的事故，所以导致他的预赛的积分名次呢也是处在中游集团。那么对于他来说呢，这几位争冠实力的选手也势必需要向前列来继续发起冲击。
It's time to put a Singaporean back into pole position once again. Dylan Tan ready for another shot from the front end of the grid here. The number 234 for LOR Racing, the 16-year-old from Singapore, lining up alongside the king of Senior X30 in 2024, Kimi Chan. It took him 4 months to get back behind the wheel of a Senior X30 after his last outing. Here he is again, and right up at the sharp end for the SJM Theodore Prema squad. Wonderful to see him right back at the sharp end after a season that has been a little bit of Senior X30, a little bit of Chinese F4, and he really has been superiorly strong. But this man, Aaron Garcia, had a win and a dud yesterday. He was dominating the first heat of the week, and then an engine failure robbed him of a race victory. He bounced back in style to get it done in the second, but now nothing short of victories will do for him from now on. Otto Pikkanen had an absolute disaster in his second heat, but he won at a canter in the first. So it's definitely going to be a tough week for these guys to make comebacks. But we've got Dylan Tan and Kimi Chan on the front row of the grid from Aaron Garcia and Otto Pikkanen. Then Mark Svarage and Toby Gale. Wook Ka-yu and Sai Cheng Yang from Lu Yude and Warapong Yamchan. Then Wang Hee-lin and Chung Jun Hao from Rafael Weissen and Clifford Ganjanapas. Chong Yin Yip and Sierra Kojima. Then Jackson Susan Harlow and Zachary Boyce from Lucy Yu and Miguel Quinones. Xi Jintong, Kose Sato, Maria Yang, Rui Sato, Zhong Yunshuan, Paco Miguel Sarmiento and Yang Jimo to round out the field. It's going to be a tough one out there.
第3排起步的车手将会是230号车手马克兹瓦里奇，他在昨天第2轮预赛是拿到了亚军的成绩。那么在他身旁起步的将会是251号车手的托比盖尔。那么在他们身后231号车手吴佳瑜以及238号车手蔡晨阳将会分别从第7和第8位来起跑。卢佑德将会从第9位出发，而在他身旁的将会是 M 维昌。我们现在看到的是所有选手马上将会来到赛道的最后一段，所有车手呢将会进行2×2的一个编队。我们来关注到头排起步的车手吉伦赞和陈玉琪是否会在发射阶段为我们奉献精彩的表现。
Repeater light already. It's already a false start because the positions were nowhere near ready and set. So the drivers now have to put themselves back into the positions once again and prepare for another crack at the top spots. So they go around one more time for a false start. But certainly for Dylan Tan and Kimi Chan, this is a great opportunity to add some victories to their tally. But Aaron Garcia is already a race winner, so too is Otto Pikkanen this week. But both of them have a win and a DNF, so it's not good news for either of them in terms of the overall. One thing that a DNF does give them today, of course, is fresher tyres going into race 3, 4 and 5. If you retire from a race in Senior X30, it's a negative in terms of the points argument, but it's a positive in terms of the condition of the tyres, because your tyres will go further. So retiring from one race, it disadvantages you in terms of your points tally, but it advantages you in terms of the tyre life for the remainder of the qualifying heats. Don't forget, you only get a couple of sets of tyres with a whole week, so you've got to make sure that they last as long as possible, and they start working from qualifying. So it's a very tricky one out of the final turn into the 2 tram lines. Are we going to go racing this time? Yes, we are. Good start from Dylan Tan. Right in there with Aaron Garcia. There's already nudging further back behind them as the drivers try to work their way through turn 1 without incident. Everybody's through cleanly. Tan is going to lose out to Garcia. They're in a wrestling match, and Tan's got in front again. Garcia's on the run wide as up into 2nd position comes the hard-charging Mark Svaric. Great start from Svaric up into P2 as he works his way forward. Now he goes for the lead. Svaric is there. Brilliant from Mark Svaric. Excellent work in turn 2 and in turn 4 as Svaric hits the front. Garcia is trying to wrest it back from around the outside. No way is he going to pull that off. He has to hang back in 2nd position. But already Garcia is going for it now, diving up the inside of Garcia. That is Wukayu. He wants to move on the inside. Garcia back to 2nd as Kimi Chan gets back into it. Excellent racecraft on the first lap. And up the inside, that's Toby Gale. Toby Gale comes through for 3rd place. What an opening lap.
起步之后的第一圈，我们看到多车队领先的位置产生了争夺。现在马克兹瓦里奇是上升到了领先的位置，而阿隆加西亚洛佩兹在比赛的初期一度是取得领跑，但是在和马克兹瓦里奇的多弯的缠斗当中，目前呢是守在第2的位置。托比盖尔现在是排在第3。目前我们可以看到，托比盖尔现在是要对身前的车手来发动进攻。陈雨琦目前是重新回到了第4的位置。
Easily the opening lap of the week so far. We've got a Paralin, a Berilat and a Kart Republic in the top 3 as Sacheng Yang, the 33-year-old from Chinese Taipei, wants to move on the inside of Kimi Chan. Can he get there? He's done it! What a move from Sacheng Yang! That is a beautiful overtake on Kimi Chan. It's held them all up, but he puts him into 4th position. The 33-year-old has worked his way forward on the FA Cup as Kimi Chan now backs into the pack. Pikkanen 6th from Wu Liu. Susan Harlow way up in P9. What a rocket launch from Jackson Susan Harlow. Already up into 9th position, right in the heart of the top 10.
上一圈我们看到的是来自中国台北的选手蔡晨阳，是对于陈玉琪发动了一次非常有力的进攻，并且是完成了超越，上升到全场第4的位置。而我们看到在领先集团托比盖尔也是完成了对于阿伦加西亚洛佩兹的超越，上一圈托比盖尔也是做出了47.914的全场最快单圈。现在他也将自己的目光转向目前处在领跑位置的马克兹瓦里奇。兹瓦里奇在取得领跑之后，并没有能够抛开身后的选手。这边车手们来到了最后的一弯，可以看到托比盖尔距离前方的兹瓦里奇已经是非常的接近。
Two brilliant young Thais racing here. Mark Svaric from Phuket. Gale from Pattaya. He's going to get the inside line. Toby Gale hits the front for the first time in this one. And so the Berilat takes the lead away from the Paralin. Toby Gale and Mark Svaric, 2 drivers who grew up on the beautiful streets of Thailand, battling their way at the front end of the field as Aaron Garcia is being caught by Sacheng Yang. The veteran of this category, 33 years of age, right in behind Garcia. He wants a piece of this, and he's going hell for leather. Great stuff from him as the man from Chinese Taipei tries to close in on Garcia. But Toby Gale now leads Svaric. The roles are reversed, but as they come through at the end of the hairpin, 4 laps into this race, 8 still to go. Toby Gale has got the advantage on both pace and gap to have the confidence, but Kimi Chan is still going quickly. He's got a chance now to get back on terms here with Sai Cheng Yang. It's Sai Cheng Yang is going to be vulnerable on this lap, then Kimi Chan is ready to pounce. Pikkonen is in 6th place, and Susan Harlow is now up in a 7th position. Jackson Susan Harlow is gunning through this field like the missile in Mario Kart.
托比盖尔在上一圈是对马克·祖瓦里奇发动了进攻，并且完成了超越，目前上升到领先的位置。祖瓦里奇现在依然是处在第2位，而蔡晨阳在超越这个陈玉琪之后呢，现在也是已经开始追击身前的阿伦加西亚洛佩兹。现在领先集团呢，这个车阵呢是已经延续到了第6和第7位。而我们这边看到，应该是陈玉琪目前呢是做到全场最快单圈47.230，奥特皮克宁现在是处在第6位。
Very tough stuff now for Kimi Chan. He's got to try and pick his moment here on Sai Cheng Yang. As up the inside goes Garcia. Garcia gets in a second past Mark Svarich. So Aaron Garcia returns to P2. He's got a win and a DNF in his pocket, so he really needs another win. Up on the inside, Kimi Chan launches in on Sai Cheng Yang. Lovely racecraft between those two, but Kimi Chan back up ahead of the Chinese Taipei superstar. P6, Otto Pikkonen is closing in. Susan Harlow's got Liu Ye De for company. So there's a lot of battles still to come in this one. We're not even halfway through just yet. Toby Gale trying to get away from Garcia. But Aaron Garcia really does have big pace and big confidence here in Macau. Over the line once again. He's going to try and charge after Toby Gale. One of the best X30 drivers in the world, Aaron Garcia. Now he's got to try and take on Toby Gale as Pikkonen gets his move on Sai Cheng Yang. Great work from the Finn on the Croc chassis. Great to see them here in Macau. Garcia has closed up. Will this be the overtake? Well, it will be from Kimi Chan. Chan gets the move on Svarich. That's P3.
陈玉琪现在看起来是重新找回了比赛的节奏，他是先后完成了对于蔡晨阳以及马克·祖瓦里奇的超越。现在陈玉琪呢是重新上升到第3的位置，而我们看到奥托皮克宁现在也是追到了这个领先集团，而目前处在第7位的杰克逊·苏斯林，他是从第17位起跑，现在他是已经来到了全场第7的位置，并且有机会进一步追击身前的对手。而目前看到比赛进入到半程阶段，托比盖尔依然是处在领先的位置，而阿隆加西亚洛佩兹在完成了对于马克·祖瓦里奇的超越之后，现在将在2号弯发动进攻。这边看到阿隆加西亚洛佩兹是完成了对于托比盖尔的超越，是上升到了第1的位置。
Garcia on Gale, he gets the lead, and now Toby Gale is going to have to try and fight back with the Spaniard. Aaron Garcia hits the front for the first time since the opening lap, as Aaron Garcia works his way forward up into his 2nd race win potentially of the week. It should be 3, but Lady Luck tore him a real heartbreak in the first race of the week. He was leading when the engine failed yesterday. Now he's got himself a lead once more. Aaron Garcia determined that this week is going to belong to him. The Spanish charge flying around this circuit. 17 years of age. He's got such great confidence as now that's Pikkonen in front of Svarich. So Otto Pikkonen has now got ahead of Mark Svarich. That's him in a 4th position. He's in exactly the same boat as Aaron Garcia, don't forget, because Pikkonen won his first heat and then he couldn't even finish the second one after being caught up in that red flag incident. Kimi Chan gets past Toby Gale. So Kimi Chan now back in a 2nd position. Now we're going to see something electrifying. Garcia versus Chan, the king of Europe versus the king of Asia. Bring it on.
陈玉琪在这一圈是再度提升了名次，他是完成了对于托比盖尔的超越，现在是上升到了第2的位置，并且目前我们可以看到全场前3位的车手呢是处在领先集团。陈玉琪现在是要来追击身前的阿伦加西亚洛佩兹。对于洛佩兹来说，他在昨天的第1回合的预赛当中呢，并没有特别好的运气，他是发生了机械故障，但是在第2轮的预赛呢是卷土重来。他现在呢是希望在第3轮预赛当中取得个人的第2场预赛的胜利。 但是对于陈玉琪来说，他也是希望来获得本周末个人的第1场预赛的胜利。现在可以看到，托比盖尔虽然是目前落到第3的位置，但是依然距离身前的陈玉琪和阿伦加西亚洛佩兹是非常的接近。而在后方，我们看到奥托皮克宁在上一圈是过掉了马克·祖瓦里奇，现在是处在第4的位置，他也是在不断的追击身前的3位选手。
Aaron Garcia has won everything there is to win in X30, except for the Supernats in Las Vegas and the Asia Final in Macau. This is his task here this week. He's won the IWF, he's won the European Championship title, he's won the Winter Cup. Now he's going at it hammer and tongs, and he may get some assistance here because Kimi Chan is back on the warpath with Toby Gale. He looks over his shoulder, he knows that Kimi Chan is there. Oh, and that's an off. That's one of the Tony Karts that's come off the road there on the far side. So that is on the approach to the final sector. So we're about to go into yellow flag zones here. Kimi Chan's going to have to wait for his overtaking move. So I'm not sure exactly who it is that's gone, but we have lost Maria Yang. She's out of the race, and it looks like we've got another retirement amongst them as well. So Toby Gale waiting for the green flag section. Now we've got it. Can he get back on terms with Kimi Chan? We go into the final tour.
比赛即将进入到最后一圈，我们现在看到阿伦加肖洛佩兹依然是处在第一的位置，陈玉琪目前处在第二，而后方的托比盖尔，看一下他会不会选择在2号弯发动进攻。托比盖尔在2号弯杀入到内线，完成了对于陈玉琪的超越。托比盖尔是重新上升到第2的位置，而陈玉琪看一下有没有机会来完成反击。两位车手的争斗也是让后方的奥托皮克尼是 追了上来，这边看一下陈玉琪进入到弯角之后出弯，两台赛车似乎发生碰撞，后方的奥托皮克尼杀入到内线，奥托皮克尼是超越了陈玉琪，上升到了第3的位置。
Gale gets ahead of Chan and then puts the brakes on. He stops Kimi Chan in his tracks, and that's enough to allow Otto Biggener to sneak through into 3rd position. Kimi Chan will be hopping mad with rage, but for Aaron Garcia, his mission is still on track. Checkered flag is in the air. Aaron Garcia continues his brilliant speed and week. What a performance. Garcia from Gale, Picken and Chan, and Luyude with Susan Harlow in front of Mark Svarage, Dylan Tan, Wang Yilin, and Sai Cheng Yang. What a brilliant continuation for Aaron Garcia. 2 wins out of 3, with every chance of making it 3 out of 4 later this afternoon.
新亚成年组 C 组和 E 组的第3轮预赛，我们看到阿伦加西亚洛佩兹是成功的实现了个人的预赛第2胜，他是领先于后方的托比盖尔。托比盖尔呢是在最后一圈完成了对于陈玉琪的防守。 托比盖尔最终是以第2位冲过终点线，而奥托皮科宁是在最后一圈抓住机会，超越了陈玉琪，是上到了第3的位置。陈玉琪最终以第4位完赛，而卢佑德在比赛的后半段是成功了提升了非常多的名次，最终是以第5位完赛。而从第17位起步的杰克逊苏斯林，最终呢是上升到了第6的位置。马克斯瓦里奇是以第7位完赛，迪伦灿是获得第8，王鹤林是收获第9，而排在第10位的是蔡晨阳。
So a retirement yesterday that certainly didn't start things better, but having slightly fresher tyres than everyone, giving him the chance to work his way back into position. Let's grab a word with Aaron. Aaron, in an opportunistic week now, we're turning into a real hard charger. 2 wins so far now out of 3. What are the conditions like today compared to yesterday?
Well, 1 heat out is a bit difficult to manage. We need to keep calm with the tyres. So yeah, we managed to win both. Both we finished, so I think it's good. We need to keep managing the tyre because they are 3 heats more. So we're really happy with the pace, and I think we have more in pocket.
You've now got an IWF title, a European title, a Winter Cup title. The only 2 things really that are left now for you are Supernats and Asia Final. You're so close to getting it done this week on pace. How do you think the tyres are going to cope this afternoon?
Well, maybe it's rain, so we need to wait for that. I think my tyres are really good at the moment. We manage really good. When we are on the lead of the race, we keep calm, we don't push at all. So yeah, I think we are in a good position to win this.
Looking good so far, Aaron. Keep it up. Good job.
Thank you.
Yeah, really, really strong pace from Aaron Garcia here in Macau. He loves it around this place. Good to see everybody really working themselves forward. Great performance from Jackson Susan Harlow, and that one making up over a dozen places to be right up there at the sharp end. Everybody really finding it tricky now because the conditions are cooler, so the drivers want to push a little bit harder because the tyres will give them a bit more. But the big question is, for how much longer. You can't risk too much in one heat because then the tyres will depreciate for Heat 4 and Heat 5. It's a balancing act and the drivers are having to figure out what's right and what's not on the job. Very, very tricky. One more senior heat before we get ourselves into the action, and I can feel some spots of rain.
我们马上将会进入到 Senior 成年组第3轮预赛的最后一场。这一场比赛呢，将会是由 A 组和 D 组的选手来参与到争夺。这场比赛呢，我们将会有25位选手来共同的竞争。从头排来进行起跑的将会是293号扎克德拉蒙德。那么他同样是在昨天的2轮预赛当中呢，是有非常不错的表现。第1轮预赛是拿到了第3位，而在第2轮预赛当中呢，是拿下了冠军。目前呢，他同样也是整个预赛积分榜比较靠前的选手。在他身旁的安迪拉特尔269号车手，同样也是在昨天的2轮预赛当中双双进入到前3，并且呢是在个人的第1轮预赛当中是拿下了胜利。这2位车手在比赛开场阶段的一个争夺呢，将会是非常的引人瞩目。
Well, as if the build-up for Senior X30 Heat A versus D wasn't dramatic enough, we now have rain on the circuit. It is not heavy, it is only very light at the moment, but it's certainly starting to drizzle a little bit here. Of course, it is not even anywhere near wet enough for wet tyres, but it's certainly going to be slippery in some of the faster circuit corners, particularly in turns 1 and 3, maybe even up towards turns 7 and 8. It could be pretty tricky as well, but it is definitely starting to come down now here at Macau, and everybody on slick tyres with no time to change, so they've got to go with what they've got. Front row of the grid, Zach Drummond and Andy Gartel. Great Britain versus France on the front row of the grid, but keep an eye on this man. Martin Lin Jixuan, an opportunistic chance for him coming. The Free and Nova driver with an opportunity knocking here. This could be his chance to shine. With the 2 men on the front row of the grid, seeing the rain first out on track, he has a chance to pounce, but then so too does this man. The newly crowned Infinity IAME Series Asia champion in Senior X30, Yuka Bo, the superstar from Hong Kong. Explorer factory driver, the first man in history to give Explorer a championship title in international competition. There's the 281, Kai Burke. Big support from him back home in Queensland in Australia. 16 years of age, serial contender for the title this season. And he's been absolutely monstrous through the course of this season. But as you can see on the camera, spots of rain are starting to fall. This is not going to be an easy heat for anybody. They're going into this one with a drizzling track on dry tyres. This could be the race of the week.
目前我们的比赛现场路环小型赛车场，整个天气呢可以说是发生了一个非常大的变化。目前我们在镜头当中已经是看到了有雨点的存在，但是现在我们所有的选手们在出车区都是要准备就位，他们都会来使用干胎来参与到这场比赛当中。对于路环小型赛车场这样的一条非常高速的赛道上面来说，如果在抓地力的 在部分路段的抓地力如果出现比较大的变化的话呢，将会非常大的影响到比赛的格局当中。而扎克德拉蒙德和安迪拉特尔将在这场比赛当中从头排来出发，在他们身后的将会是287号车手林敬轩以及299号车手于家宝。于家宝也是我们本赛季亚米亚洲系列赛 Senior 成年组的年度冠军。他刚才在上车前也是一直在抬头关注着场上的天气的情况。现在我们看到出车区绿旗已经是挥动，我们所有的选手都是已经驶上赛道来进行他们的编队圈。后方似乎有2位选手可能起步慢一些，但是并没有影响到他们进入到编队圈当中。在第3排来起跑了将会是281号车手凯伯克，而鲁本摩亚洛佩兹将会从第6位来起跑。去年我们亚米亚洲总决赛的Senior 组的冠军选手将在这场比赛呢从第6位来起跑。268号车手哈迪亚将会从第7位来起步，而在他身旁的将会是282号车手的贝奇卡吉里。
Well, our race directors, Mr. Alessandro Ferrari and Dan Ashton, have been keeping an eye on the weather as it develops on this formation lap. It is raining a little bit, but it's certainly not particularly heavy at the moment. And it's going to be tricky for the drivers. Slick tyres, newly resurfaced circuit, greasy conditions added to the rubber that's already laid down. Some of the circuit's corners are going to feel like oil in these conditions. So the drivers will come off the turn. I think it's going to be a slow start, this one. So are we going to get an actual start, or is it going to be a repeater like we're going under race conditions? Off we go. Drummond takes the front end from Lynn. So into the first couple of corners we go. Kai Burke is there in 4th position behind Arnie Rattel. Rattel trying to get the braking zone back into 2nd place he goes. Nice move from Arnie Rattel. And it's slippery flags on the way to turn 3. Already the rain is deteriorating here at Macau. So everybody is now well aware of how tricky it's going to be. Will everybody get their cart stopped for the apexes? Couple of slides through to turn 4. But everybody's still on the island until the exit. And we've got one cart disappearing into the gravel trap. But everybody else seems to be working their way in as careful a condition as they can be. But it's a disaster for a couple of drivers in the field. Out in front for Drummond. This is his bread and butter. The Scot knows how to deal with these conditions. This is what he grew up with.
比赛起步之后，我们看到赛会是已经出示了雨地牌，对于我们所有的选手们来说，必须要在这个刹车区要更加的小心。而刚位出发的扎克德拉蒙德现在依然是处在领先的位置。安迪拉特尔虽然是在起跑阶段是落了一个名次，但是现在他是重新回到第2的位置。鲁本莫亚洛佩兹现在是从第6位出发，已经来到了第3的位置。林敬轩目前是处在第4位，进入到弯角当中的刹车区一定要格外的小心。后方也是有车手是完成了一个超越，也是非常非常的精彩。
Yukapo gets ahead of Lin Jingjuan. That puts him into P4 behind Drummond, Rattel and Moya. Then we've got Yu. Kai Berg is trying to work his way forward with Yuri Bachichka and Prasetyo Hardia also in the mix here. Some good overtaking moves needed if you want to get some decent results on the board. But in conditions like this, there are a few more opportunities. Drummond, Rattel, Moya, Yu, Lin and Burke. Kai Burke trying to get himself settled in. This is not easy for Kai Burke. Not the kind of conditions he's used to, as Yukapo sets the fastest lap of the race in his bid to close up on Drummond, Rattel and Moya. So as they work their way through, Ruben Moya with a great run on Rattel, up in a turn 4. Ruben Moya dives through and gets in a 2nd position. Great run from the Spaniard. Now he's only got one man between himself and victory, and that is the flying Scotsman, Zach Drummond.
这一圈我们看到鲁本莫亚洛佩兹是在4号弯的刹车点的地方是成功的杀入到了内线，完成了对于安迪拉特尔的超越。现在鲁本莫亚洛佩兹是已经来到了第2的位置，而在领先的扎克德拉蒙德，他现在是已经手握了差不多有超过半秒钟的一个领先优势。对于这位英国选手来说，相对来说处于失地的一个情况，会是他更为熟悉的一个情况。而后方我们可以看到安迪拉特尔在落到第3位之后呢，现在也要受到身后于家宝的一个进攻。林敬轩目前是处在第5的位置，凯伯克现在在第6，哈迪亚现在是在第7，而贝奇卡基里依然是处在第8的位置。
Yukapo now gets the move on Arnie Rattel. That puts the Explorer driver into 3rd position. The slippery flags have now been withdrawn. The drivers know what they're coping with now. And it looks like we've got an off at the hairpin at turn 2. With green flags there flying. So it looks like we've got yellows at turn 2. Not entirely sure who it is that's lost ground, but we'll find out shortly, I'm sure. But here is Drummond, then Moya, then Yu. Rattel's under pressure from Martin Lin. So Martin Lin fancying his chances as the 280 has got a technical flag. The 280 with a technical flag. That's a problem for Norris Gafour. So Norris Gafour has been shown the technical flag and that's game over for him. The 288 is abandoned on the road. That is Louis G. Louis G is out of this one, I'm afraid. So that's the reason why we've got a green flag at turn 3. But Norris Gafor, it's even worse for him. He's got a technical flag. He's going to have to report back to the pits.
我们刚才看到赛道上应该是288号赛车刘伟谢的赛车呢是停在了赛道上，现在赛道上的部分路段也是出示了黄旗，而现在我们看到扎克德拉蒙德依然是处在第1的位置，于家宝在上一圈是过掉了安迪拉特尔，现在已经上升到第3位，鲁本莫亚洛佩兹目前仍然处在第2，但是他现在要开始受到身后于家宝的一个进攻，两台赛车看一下是否会在2号弯发生名次上的交替，于家宝2号弯杀入到了内线，完成了对于鲁本莫亚洛佩兹的超越，但是洛佩兹在出弯的地方依然是守住了自己的线路。
So there, Yukapo had to make the overtaking move, go back to Ruben Moya because there were double wave yellows. So he gave back the position and now has taken it back from Ruben Moya. He loves these conditions. The Explorer is absolutely bolted to the road. He really is loving it. He's got 7 laps nearly to try and gain the ground on Zach Drummond. But he's still got a lot to fight. Ruben Moya dives in. No, you don't, says Yukapo. It's taken me this long to get up to 2nd place. There's no way I'm letting you have it back. So Yukapo now P2 and already stretching away from Moya and Lin. But can he catch Zach Drummond? 6 laps done, 6 to go.
鲁本莫亚洛佩兹和于家宝之间的缠斗依然是在继续。这边看到进入到2号弯，于家宝是守住了自己的线路，而这2位选手的一个攻势呢，也是让前方的扎克德拉蒙德已经是稍稍的抛开了1秒钟以上的优势。现在看到第2位的名次上的缠斗，鲁本莫亚洛佩兹在4号弯杀入到内线完成超越，身后的林敬轩也是顺势完成了超越。于家宝看起来是丢掉了2个名次。
Well, any chance Yukapo had of winning this one have now just evaporated. He's dropped from 2nd to 4th. He's let Ruben Moya and Lin Juan make the move on the inside line. So Martin Lin or Lin Juan have managed to get through. Still a few drops of rain on the camera lens in various parts of the course. So Yukapo is now having to watch and wait. Zach Drummond leads the way. Ruben Moya 2nd. There's Martin Lin right in behind Ruben Moya. Drummond a quick check over the shoulder. Here comes Martin Lin. Can he get into 2nd place? He's going to wait. He's going to work with Ruben Moya to try and close up. But we've got Rattel in 5th. We've got Hajia in 6th place now, both ahead of Kai Burke. Then Tang Zhuan, Wang Zhizheng and Efim Derunov in P10 ahead of Yeri Bachichka. Then it is Enoch Mi, Dominic Benedict and Tian Chen. There are still some drops of rain around the circuit. It's definitely not heavy and it's not expected to get heavy over the day, but it's definitely going to be psychological rain that could trip up the unexpected contender.
我们现在看到第2集团的6位车手，现在也是分为了2到4和5到7的2个集团。现在安迪拉特尔也需要去来防守身后哈迪亚和凯伯克的一个挑战。而这边我们看到第2集团当中，目前鲁本莫亚洛佩兹依然是处在第2的位置，但是这边进入到2号弯之后，看到林敬轩应该是能够杀到内线完成一个超越，但是这边鲁本莫亚洛佩兹在出弯的时候依然是守在内线的地方，两台赛车现在是处在并排，即将进入到4号弯角，鲁本莫亚洛佩兹这边依然是守住了自己第2的位置。
Martin Lin desperately trying to get Ruben Moya to back off. Let me have it, let me have it. Ruben Moya completely ignoring him and holding on to 2nd place. So now Martin Lin understands. Right, okay, between you and me, it's war. I'm coming at you. So Martin Lin is going to try and bounce back on the Spaniard. He's tightened up now to Yukapo, Presetio Hardia, Kai Burke and Adi Rattel. But now Martin Lin knows that Ruben Moya will not work with him. So he's got to try and get the overtaking move and finish the job. Up through turn 1 and 2 they will go. Up towards the hairpin. And it's a very tricky moment to come from Zach Drummond, who leads this race, but Ruben Moya is next up. Looks like we've had a difficulty with a couple of our cameras. We'll try and pick them up again as here they come. There's Zach Drummond, and now Ruben Moya's got all the pressure in the world. Martin Lin, right round the outside. He tries to get it to work. It's not going to happen. And now he's got to fend off from Yukapo. Yukapo trying to come right round the outside. They go up the hill, and Martin Lin holds on. Goodness me, he is driving well.
林敬轩在这一圈的4号弯角是想尝试对于鲁本莫亚洛佩兹外线完成超越，这也是给于家宝提供了一个进攻的机会。但是现在林敬轩依然是守住了自己的位置，而鲁本莫亚洛佩兹现在依然是守在第2，而第2位的这个争夺也是让目前处在第1位的扎克德拉蒙德是进一步的扩大了领先优势。现在2台赛车之间的差距已经是到3秒钟，而这边我们看到应该是鲁本莫亚洛佩兹是再度受到了挑战。
Yukapo is well aware of the fact that the 4th position is basically now all he can hope for from this race. And that's not enough for Presetio Hardia. He wants to get around the outside. He's trying to nudge Yukapo out of the way. Big pressure cooker bubbling now. As onto that back stretch, Yukapo is really holding on. Prasetyo Hardia and Andy Rattel are getting very angry here. They want to get ahead of Kai Burke. They've done that. Burke dives for the inside of Rattel. Tries to snake his way through. Can Prasetyo Hardia dive out from behind Yukapo? We've still got 2 laps to go of this as Martin Lin is back on with Ruben Moya. Right, if you're going to slam dunk me, come on, stop defending. Let's race. Martin Lin is absolutely determined. Stop holding me up. I want to go for the move. Ruben Moya is backing up Martin Lin. Can Lin get the run off the turn? Come on, what are you doing? Stop defending, stop defending. But Martin Lin is getting very angry indeed here.
比赛进入到最后一圈，我们看到林敬轩依然是想尝试来对鲁本莫亚洛佩兹来进行超越，而这边我们看到的是后方安迪拉克尔和于家宝之间也是在进行一个非常激烈的缠斗。这边我们看到于家宝要来受到身后凯伯克的一个进攻，包括后方的哈迪亚以及黄喜正也是想尝试来对前方来发动进攻。而这边我们看到方格奇即将挥动，扎克德拉蒙德以非常大的一个领先优势是拿下了这场第3轮 A 组 D 组预赛的胜利。
Zach Drummond dominates. Ruben Moya in front of a very angry Martin Lin. Andy Rattel comes through for P4 in front of Yukapo, Kai Burke, Prasetyo Hardia, Huang Zhizheng, Tang Zizhuan and Efim Derunov. But Zach Drummond absolutely crushing the opposition. Ruben Moya doing everything he can to hold back Lin Jingzuan. But Lin Jingzuan absolutely enraged at the defensive tactics of Ruben Moya. Certainly not what he was hoping for. But Zach Drummond absolutely cleans up. There he is. What a run from the Flying Scotsman. Another victory in the can.
可以说，我们整场比赛都是围绕着全场第2位名次的一个缠斗在进行的关注。鲁本莫亚洛佩兹和林敬轩之间一直是就第2的位置来展开争夺，而林敬轩我们刚才也是从转播画面当中也是看到他多次对于身前的鲁本莫亚洛佩兹打出手势。那么原本这2位车手呢，应该是有机会能够共同的协作来追击前方的扎克德拉蒙德，但是这2位车手的缠斗也是让前方的扎克德拉蒙德拥有一个非常大的领先优势。最终扎克德拉蒙德是以4秒钟的领先是拿下了这场 Senior 成年组 A 组 D 组的第3轮预赛的胜利。鲁本莫亚洛佩兹是以第2位完赛，林敬轩是获得第3，而在后方我们看到安迪拉克尔是获得第4，于家宝收获第5，他是在最后关头是防守住了凯伯克，凯伯克是以第6位冲线，后方的第7位是哈迪亚，黄喜正以第8位完赛，第9位完赛的是270号车手唐子轩。
A very, very slippery day at the office it's turning into here with the drizzle coming down on the circuit. It's not dry, it's not wet. It's that flirting line in between. So let's have a quick catch up with our race winner, Zach. You're never going to get many X30 races where you clear out by 4 seconds. It's a nice, satisfying one for you. But what does that mean for the rest of the day now that the drizzle looks like it could be here for the rest of it?
Yeah, we know we're good in the rain, but in that race we just showed our pace, like 4 seconds. I know they might be battling a little bit, but every corner is perfect for me, and I can't thank the team and everyone that's helping enough.
With the newly resurfaced track here, does the rain actually make it very tricky? I'm guessing with the new rubber on the track, it's feeling a bit like oil out there at times.
Yeah, when it's dry, it's very grippy, but when the drizzle comes, it gets quite slippery. So I was just managing the track as much as I could. Like some laps, I was sliding a little bit. So next lap, I just was cautious around that corner. I didn't know I had a big lead.
Mind you, you grew up at Lark Hall, so this is kind of a nice little feather in the cap for you. This is what your bread and butter is, really.
Yeah, I'm used to this condition, to be fair.
Good job so far. Keep it up.
Thank you.
Great work from Zach Drummond. This is exactly what it used to be like when he was a kid, these kind of conditions, but not every driver will be used to it. And certainly now it's going to get trickier and trickier as the day goes on. That's Heat 3 for the Senior X30s done and dusted. Now we get to shift our focus to the juniors. That's going to be very difficult for them because they have less experience, of course, than their senior counterparts. And the rain has actually been here for a few minutes now. So the track is greasier than it's ever been.
么在 Senior 成年组的第3轮预赛的3场比赛结束之后呢，我们现在将会把目光转向 Junior 青少年组。那么我们稍后呢将会进行2场第3轮的预赛。那么首先将会进行的是 Junior 青少年组的 B 组和 D 组的第3轮预赛。那么在这场比赛当中呢，我们将会有17位选手来共同的参与到争夺当中。从头排发车的将会是118号车手阿克塞尔诺科姆，他在昨天的第2轮的预赛当中是拿下了比赛的胜利。那么他也是希望将会在今天有更好的一个发挥。那么在他身旁起步的将会是121号车手刘博文。那刘博文呢是在昨天下午的这个第2轮预赛当中呢，是非常意外的出现了一个比赛的事故情况。那么我们也是很高兴他在今天是能够重新回到我们第3轮预赛的这个赛场当中，并且呢，他将会在这场比赛当中有机会向领先的集团来发起冲击。在他身后的将会是133号车手曾思涵以及102号车手杰米安布罗塞。
So a very interesting situation we find ourselves in here now with the junior category. It's not even midday, and we're about to have the 3rd and final heat for the juniors, such as the unusual timetable that we have here in Macau. And for Axel Nocom, the Filipino star who got the pole position originally, this is a very tough opportunity for him now. Knowing that the circuit is as greasy and as slippery as it is, the youngster on the front row of the grid is definitely going to have it tough, but so is this man, Liu Bowen, who had a very crazy day yesterday, including a day that ended in the barriers. So hopefully he's going to have a much better race ahead of him. The 133, Zheng Shihan, the 13-year-old for the Mars Racing team, definitely wanting a much smoother day at the office, but obviously these greasy conditions of the rain will make it harder. Let's not forget that all of the drivers here are on slick tyres. It's not wet enough for wet tyres. That's the key factor. Yes, there is rain, but there has to be enough rain on the circuit for the water to actually bite into the treads, and we're nowhere near that point. So essentially, the karts are going to be very slippery, especially on this new surface. There's only a little bit of rubber that's gone down, but any rubber that mixes with the drizzle, it's going to feel like sheet ice. It is really tricky for our competitors here, but with the tyres not being ready for wet conditions yet, and it doesn't look as like, to me, looking at the way that the wet rain is coming down, it's constant, but it's not heavy. So I don't think we're ever going to get to the point where we're going to need wet tyres. That means that the worn slicks that we've already got are really going to be stretched to their limits in all of the categories.
目前我们可以看到现场呢依然是有部分的阵风，并且呢是有一些雨滴的，但是目前整个赛道的状况呢也并不足以让车手们来选择使用雨胎，所以说我们所有的选手们依然是需要搭载干胎来进行接下来的比赛。那么对于我们的 Junior 青少年组的选手们来说呢，在刚才可能看过了 Senior 成年组的这个比赛之后呢，也需要去关注到自己在接下来的比赛当中需要在哪一些弯角当中去更加的小心，需要去留意到自己驾驶方面是否是需要进行一定的调整。那么对于我们所有的 Junior 青少年组的选手们来说呢，也将会是一个非常大的考验，因为这个天气情况在这个周末之前应该是没有预见到的，所以说呢，需要由我们的车手们来共同的要小心一些。
So now everybody getting themselves geared up, ready then for this 3rd and final heat in these two groups. In the junior competition, it's B versus D in this one. So we should see some really exciting battles and badinage between the junior drivers. They know that this is their last chance until the super heat tomorrow morning for them to get themselves into a good position. And as they all know going in, only the top 32 drivers in the rankings after the super heat will be allowed to start the final. And there are no consolation races this week. They've got only 2 more chances to book themselves a place on the finals grid. The 102 there, 4th position on the starting grid for the British driver Jamie Ambrose of the 29R squad. Good to see him right up at the sharp end, looking to make a big impact if he can continue to elevate himself further forward. And these are conditions that he will relish. Anybody who is used to that part of Europe will look at these conditions as a playground, not as a deficit, because cooler conditions with drizzling circuit, that's what they grew up on. Here we go. And there's problems. There's problems for the pole sitter. Axel Nocom's got a problem. And as a result, everybody trying to avoid the problems of getting out. And there's more trouble. That's the victory lane pulling up. That's the 125 of Tony Cacciaferro. Tony Cacciaferro, the Andorran, is now struggling to get away. He's the only one that's been left, but Tony Cachefero, the Andorran, struggling to get away. Now he will join in. I've got a feeling this is going to be a false start.
我们刚才看到，在绿旗挥动之后呢，杆位车手118号阿克塞尔诺科姆的赛车呢，并没有及时的出发，而在后方的选手尝试躲避的过程当中，我们看到124号选手托尼·费雷的赛车呢，似乎也是出现了一些问题。现在呢，他也是在工作人员的帮助之下重新回到了赛道。我们要来关注到托尼·费雷是否能够在这一轮起跑之前来追到队尾的一个位置。现在前方的领先集团的赛车呢，已经是来到赛道的最后一段，但是我们需要等待阿克塞尔诺科姆和托尼·费雷是否能够追到他们原本应当有的发车位置。很有可能我们这一轮发车呢没有办法去正常的进行，这边我们还是需要留意工作人员的灯光信号。
Into the race battle, and it's already a false start. Kind of saw that one coming a million miles away. Almost as predictable as the Formula One movie plot, that one. They were never, ever going to get that one started. So they'll have to go around again, and that's a big chance for Axel Nocum and for Tony Cachefero. They'll be able to take back their original grid positions. So at least that's the case, but of course they get to have a little bit more drizzle on the circuit by that time. So it's definitely going to be a trickier race circuit conditions. So with everybody now trying to get themselves lined up into a good position on the grid, it's not going to be easy to predict how this is going to work out. Everybody just finding their feet and dialing themselves in. So what kind of battle are we set for as Axel Nocum retakes his position at the front end of the field? Going into these heats, the only man to be dominant and win both of his races yesterday was the Australian Jake Kostecki, the youngest man in the junior field and the reigning mini champion. He has 2 from 2 in the later race. Will he be able to make it 3 from 3? We will find out shortly. But for the moment, over the sharp end, it's up to Axel Nocum. Are we going to go racing? Yes, we are! Axel Nocum gets the start. And a good launch forward from the 133 of Zheng Shihan. He goes with him as they fly through turn 1. Bit of a run wide there. Goodness me, that was a scary moment for the man who originally started all the way up in second on the grid. Now Liu Bowen is really struggling to hold the grip as Jamie Ambrose is getting a little bit held up there, but no problems at all for Zheng Shihan. He takes the lead here from Axel Nocum, and it looks as though the Chinese ace is going to sprint away.
比赛发射之后，我们看到阿克塞尔诺科姆虽然是经历了出场圈的一个意外的情况，但是他的起步呢是非常的不错。但是从第3位起跑的曾思涵，现在是在2号弯的地方完成了对于阿克塞尔诺科姆的一个超越。现在曾思涵是已经来到了全场领先的位置，阿克塞尔诺科姆依然是处在第2位，而后方领先集团的车手们也是在不断的在寻求名次上面的提升。比赛呢现在即将完成第1圈，曾思涵现在是处在全场第1，阿克塞尔诺科姆是在第2位，刘博文目前是排在第3，而内森阿里亚从第5位起跑，现在是上升到了第4位。
Here comes Nathan Aria, dives up the inside of Liu Bowen and he gets through, but Zheng Shihan is just sprinting away from Axel Nocum. He's already got about 4 kart lengths on him. This is a great drive from Zheng Shihan, the Tony Kart driver. Really looking strong here for the Mars Racing team, the 13-year-old from China, and it's going to be a very early victory for a Chinese driver. They've actually really struggled to put it in first position. Second places, no problem. Third position, no problem. But wins have been thin on the ground for the Chinese racers so far this week. But Zheng Shihan certainly looking very confident here in front of Nocum, Aria, Liu, Ambrose, Najur, Sakano and Huang. So it's looking really competitive up front. Axel Nocum just trying to stay with Zheng Shihan. 8 to go, and it's still very much anybody's race at the moment. Axel Nocum finds a little bit more pace, so this could be a bit of a return to form for the young man from the Philippines.
比赛现在进入到第3圈，我们看到曾思涵在取得领先之后呢，依然是一马当先。不过目前看到阿克塞尔诺科姆也是紧随其后，是再度的追到了他的133号赛车的身后。而在第3位的争夺当中，看到内森阿里亚也是过掉了刘博文。现在阿里亚呢是已经上升到第3的位置。刘博文目前处在第4，杰米安布罗塞是排在第5，而布兰登现在是处在第6位。这边看到阿克塞尔诺科姆在进入到赛道的后半段呢，已经是距离前方的曾思涵越来越近了。
So now heat number 3 is a very important one indeed for our junior competitors. They want a little bit more pace. Here comes Axel Nocum. He's got big draft on the way through turn 1. He'll open up the taps, and Axel Nocum retakes the lead on the inside of Zheng Shihan. Oh, we've got problems further back as the 115. That is Liu Qinleong, the 13-year-old from Macau. He's got a trawling bumper. So that's going to be a technical flag for sure. Unfortunate then for Liu Qinleong, but he's going to be out of this race because he has a technical flag already. Feng Chit is out of this one. as he has a problem on the main straight. So the 113, he has had an incident colliding with his countryman, and both of them are going to be out because the other has a big problem with his rear bumper. Fortunately, Fong No Chit is not hurt. He manages to get out of the car and walk away, but certainly the man he tangled with, Liu Kin Leong, is going to have a technical flag because his bumper is severely damaged, dragging on the back of the car.
在上一圈，我们看到阿克塞尔诺科姆是在2号弯完成了对于曾思涵的超越，重新回到第一的位置。而现在曾思涵也需要来应对后方内森阿里亚的一个进攻。而我们这边看到，在发车区呢，也是有一台赛车停了下来，应该是113号冯奥哲的赛车。而这边在领先集团当中，看到前3名已经形成了领先集团。内森阿里亚在不断的向前来攀升名次，他也要来尝试对前方的曾思涵来发动进攻。这边比赛马上将进入到半程的阶段，看到阿克塞尔诺科姆依然是处在领先的位置。
So Nocom leads the way, but only by a couple of inches in front of Zheng Shihan. Nathan Ardia has caught right up to them, so it's going to be a very interesting battle between these three. The Filipino, the Chinese, and the Indonesian, and they're really going at it through turn 1. Zheng Shihan catches right back up to Axel Nocom. Will he dive through for the inside line? The Chinese star is back in front. Great move, as now Zheng Shihan retakes the lead from Axel Nocom. Nathan Ardia is there in third, ahead of Ambrose, Liu, Najur, and the Japanese driver Tagan Sakano. So Taigan Sakano, who's just set the fastest lap of the race, by the way, is now in his 7th place, trying to close up on the top 6. 8th place for Wei Jiaji, then Li Jiaheng and Tony Cachefero from Wu Jincheng and Huang Ziheng.
这边我们看到曾思涵是在2号弯再度抓住了机会，完成了对于阿克塞尔诺科姆的超越。现在曾思涵又是重新回到了第一的位置，而阿克塞尔诺科姆现在依然是处在第2位。内森阿里亚目前是在后方来关注着前方2位车手之间的缠斗。比赛现在即将进入到第6圈，这边看到曾思涵虽然依然处在第一，但是阿克塞尔诺科姆这边离得非常接近。赛车马上将会进入到2号弯，阿克塞尔诺科姆在2号弯杀入到内线，诺科姆是再度完成了超越，上升到第1位。但是在出弯的地方，两台赛车进行并排，曾思涵再度夺回了领先的位置。
Nocom goes for the move, but Zheng Shihan saw it coming. He backed down. He held an opportunity to come back. Nocom dives back through, and Ardia goes with him. This time, Zheng Shihan has been caught out as Axel Nocom is able to get back into the lead, and he carries Nathan Ardia through on the inside line with him at turn 4. So now the Chinese driver back down to 3rd position as Axel Nocom retakes the lead of this one. Nathan Ardia in 2nd place, looking so much stronger than he was able to produce yesterday. Now Nathan Ardia has just one overtaking move from the victory, and he knows he's got a fast car. He's got the toe, he's got the slipstream. Now he'll set up Axel Nocom. Are we going to have a 3rd different leader? We are! Nathan Ardia takes the lead away from Axel Nocom. So now we've got 3 different race leaders in this one. Zheng Shihan, Axel Nocom, and now Nathan Ardia.
阿克塞尔诺科姆和曾思涵的缠斗，现在是让内森阿里亚是寻找到了机会，而这边我们看到的是，应该是领先集团的名次是再度发生了更迭。这边看到应该是阿克塞尔诺科姆，应该是和曾思涵在进行非常激烈的缠斗。现在领先集团的3位选手都曾坐上过领先的位置，而比赛还剩下最后的3圈，我们不到最后关头都不知道最后的胜者究竟会是谁。
Sadly, the lead didn't last long for Nathan Ardia as both Nocom and Zheng managed to get through. But look at Zheng Shihan now. He really is all over Axel Nocom. If Nathan Ardia is intelligent, he could still get this win back. Zheng Shihan goes the far side. Now he goes for the switcheroo. Axel Nocom tries to shut him down. Nathan Ardia tucks in behind Zheng Shihan. They'll both sweep through at 3. Lovely move from Zheng Shihan. Now Aria's going to go rogue. He comes through on the inside. Nathan Ardia gets the job done. Brilliant sweeper from Nathan Ardia as he now takes over the lead. Nocom's back in front again. Oh my goodness, so many switches in position in this one. Ardia tries to get, Nocom comes together with Ardia. Oh, Nocom and Ardia collide. And that's going to be Zheng Shihan, I think, sweeping through to the lead. No, it's Ambrose. Ambrose has taken the lead. Amazing from Ambrose. Now he's got Liu Wen. They're battling for the victory with Taigan Sakano in 3rd position. Here comes the challenge from Liu Wen. Ambrose defends. Liu Wen cuts back in with a switch. They're going to be side by side. Can Liu Wen come through? He holds his nerve and he's there, but Ambrose is to the inside for the next apex. Ambrose retakes the lead.
前3位的争夺让后方的安布罗塞和刘博文现在成为了冠军的争夺者。比赛进入到了最后一圈，看到现在刘博文是领先于杰米安布罗塞，而后方应该是白野太贤的赛车已经来到了第3位。现在是4位车手来共同争夺比赛的冠军。目前看到应该是杰米安布罗塞和刘博文之间将会在最后关头来争夺冠军。
It's Jamie Ambrose from Taigen Sakano. It's going to be a drag race to the line. It'll be Ambrose. He just hangs on from Taigen Sakano. And the Canadian Brandon Njur in third ahead of Liu Bowen, Nathan Ardia and Sheng Shihan. What a way for that race to transpire. Wei Jiaxi in 7th ahead of Axel Nocom. He'll be so disappointed. 9th for Cachefero, 10th for Wu Jin Cheng from Li, Huang, Wong, Chan, Tipei, and then Liu and Fong out of the race. Only 14 coming home, but Jamie Ambrose snatching the win by 82 thousandths of a second. What a dramatic couple of final laps.
这一场 Junior 青少年组 B 组 D 组的第3轮预赛是非常的精彩，而且在比赛的最后关头也是诠释了何为鹬蚌相争，渔翁得利。就在全场前3，内森阿里亚、曾思海以及阿克塞尔诺科姆在争夺名次的过程当中，3台赛车是发生了碰撞，这也让后方处在第4位的杰米安布罗塞是在最后一圈坐上了领先的位置，并且他是成功击败了刘博文和白野太贤，最终是拿到了这场比赛的胜利。白野太贤是在最后一圈上升到第2位。那么他是驾驶着125号的赛车，132号车手布兰登是获得第3，刘博文最终呢是以第4位冲线，内森阿里亚和曾思涵只能以第5和第6位完赛，第7位完赛的是丰加西，而阿克塞尔诺科姆在比赛的前半程都是处在领先的位置，而最终他只能以第8位来完成比赛，第9位完赛的是托尼费雷，而吴金城是获得第10位。
Jamie Ambrose walking away with a victory in that one. Jamie, well, good things come to those who wait, I guess. That was a very tricky race. You spent the majority of it battling over 4th position, but when the moment came, you were ready, you were able to pounce. What was it like out there?
Yeah, I was just waiting for them to scrap because I knew like something would happen because they were scrapping quite hard, and that's what I did. My pace hasn't been amazing because I'm using a stock engine, but now the luck has finally changed, no?
You had a good run there with Liu Bowen and Taigen Sakano at the end. You were able to really just move the cart slightly over the racing line to keep your place. That strength of defence is really going to make a big difference in this one.
Yeah, hopefully I can do the same in the final and that'll be really good.
Fantastic drive, Jamie. Well done.
Thank you.
You've got to take every single chance that comes your way here in Macau. And although, as he said, the pace is not fantastic, every time there's an opportunity to hold the victory, you've got to hold on to it because there are so many drivers that want to take it away from you. Great run as well from Brandon Njur coming through for a podium finish. Taigen Sakano came through, the Japanese driver, for a top 3 as well. Every chance, you've got to take it because you never know what's going to happen. The last junior race before the Super Heats is up next.
么我们稍后将会进入到 Junior 青少年组第3轮预赛的第2场比赛，同时也会是整个 Junior 青少年组的最后一场预赛。那么这场比赛呢，将会是由 A 组和 C 组的选手来共同参与到角逐当中。这场比赛呢，将会有20位选手来共同的竞逐冠军。 在头排来进行起跑的158号车手杰伊科斯泰基，那么他也是新进入到 Junior 青少年组比赛的选手，但是他已经在昨天的2轮预赛当中给我们非常惊艳的表现，他在2轮预赛当中都是拿下了胜利，也是为了他这个周末冲击我们亚米亚洲总决赛 Junior 青少年组冠军是奠定了非常好的基础。而在他身旁， 从第2位起步的171号车手文玉博，同样呢也是在第1轮预赛当中是拿下了比赛的胜利。这2位车手在比赛发车阶段一定会是针尖对麦芒的一场激烈的对决。
Now for the final race of the junior competition before we get to the super heats. Jay Kostecki has won 2 from 2. He's on pole position for this one. Third opportunity to get the job done as the youngest man in the field. What an opportunity for Jay Kostecki, the 11-year-old from Henley Brook in Perth in Western Australia. What an opportunity for him from the front of the grid, but he's going to have big opposition. Yu Bo Wen is not a man to trifle with. He will be very, very impressive to watch out for in this one. Wen Yu Bo, looking forward to having a very solid race here, and it will not be easy to predict who is going to get the best of it from this fantastic competition over the sharp end. And don't count out the man who's starting right behind them, Andrea Galimberti, this year's junior champion after an absolutely stellar first season in full-time competition at Asian level. He's had an amazing season, the Italian from Sicily in Pordenone, although of course these days he is based out of Chengdu in China. What an opportunity for him to go for broke. But he's going to be alongside the American Bruno Fu for the Mars Racing team. He'll be there 4th on the grid. Let's see what the drivers at the sharp end can give us. One final junior bout before we set the tone for the super heats tomorrow.
发射区已经挥动了绿旗，我们看到我们这一轮 Junior 青少年组 A 组和 C 组的第3轮预赛马上就将开始，而这边我们看到应该是有2位车手175和135号选手的赛车呢是起步稍稍有一些迟滞，但是2位车手呢也是已经 进入到了比赛场地当中，现在我们所有的选手呢将会进入到编队圈。那么我们刚才介绍了头排发车的158号选手杰伊科斯泰基和171号车手文玉博将会从头排来起跑，第2排起跑呢将会是143号选手安德烈加林贝蒂以及197号车手 Bruno Fu。 韩兆恩将会从第5位来进行出发，而第6位起跑的将会是190号车手莱昂纳多·毛里。 卡萨格兰德将会从第7位来起跑，而弗里将会从第8位来发车。看到我们所有的选手都是已经来到赛道的最后一段，选手们必须要来进行2并排来进行我们的编队。我们的 Junior 青少年组的最后一场预赛马上就将打响。
So now it's time to let the drivers battle around the circuit one last time as we get ourselves into position on this start. Into the 2 tram lines we will go. Let's see if we get a good start in the juniors category. Off we go, and it's a good run from Jay Kostecki. Andrea Galimberti going with him and trying to go through on the inside, the even side, about a terrible start, and into the barriers. Oh, problems already, as off into the barriers a couple of drivers in the juniors have found themselves over turn 1. But it's 1-2 for the DRMs of Kostecki and Galimberti. It's disastrous for anybody on the even side of the grid. And that is the 155 that has gone clean off the road. That is Natalim Jipanya. What a shame for him, Jipanya. He's gone into it as the rest of the field is battling away up front. But now Galimberti has lost out. He is down the order. It's John Hahn who has stepped up the attack. And the man from Hong Kong is on the warpath.
比赛的第1圈，我们看到1号弯就是有1位车手，155号车手英吉帕尼亚的赛车呢，应该是在缠斗过程当中是发生了意外状况，冲出了赛道。而现在比赛完成了第1圈之后，我们现在看到的是杰伊科斯泰基依然是处在领先的位置，而韩兆恩从第5位起跑，现在已经上升到第2的位置。加林贝蒂目前处在第3，而卡萨格兰德已经上到了第4位。目前处在第5位的是马明谦，文玉博呢是在1号弯也是受到了一定的影响，他目前是跌落到了第6的位置。
Wen Yubo alleviates the damage by getting ahead of Martin Chan, but I tell you what, He's not having a great race of it at all from the even side of the grid. He's working his way down on the inside of Bo Casagrande. What a late charge from Wenyu Bo. That is an absolutely flamboyant overtake into the hairpin down at turn 5. And that took bravery, determination, and gusto. Great work from Wenyu Bo. Now he's up in 4th place, chasing after Kostecki, Hart, and Galimberti. Then it's Wen, Casagrande, Ma, Gate, Fu, Moni, and Deng Zhitan.
比赛现在进入到了第3圈，可以看到文玉博在上一圈是完成了对于卡萨格兰德的一次进攻，并且文玉博呢也是在此前是对于马明谦完成了超越。现在文玉博是重新上升到第4的位置，卡萨格兰德现在是排在第5，马明谦是排在第6，而目前处在领先集团的杰伊科斯泰基也要受到后方韩兆恩的一个挑战。韩兆恩在上一圈是做到48.880的最快单圈。
The lead of the race, John Hahn has got ahead of Kostecki. John Hahn leads the way. The man from Hong Kong has got himself into the lead for the Force Racing team. The 11-year-old under the tutelage this week of Davide Fore and all the guys around them. Absolutely fantastic stuff. The Force Racing team really starting their way further forward. An excellent work for the Kart Republic driver, working more magic on the way forward. But excellent stuff as the Force Racing team driver now gets in front of Kostecki and Galimberti. I apologise, because of course Fore is working with the Praga boys at Maurois, but they're still there or thereabouts in this one. But the Force Racing team really working hard. They've got some real talent, British engineering in that particular squad this week as well, masterminding their charge. But John Hahn is taking the fight to Jay Kostecki. It looks like the Australian may get beaten potentially for the first time this week, and then it really would be open season in Junior X30 as the youngsters are battling away. Galimberti with a chance to close up on Kostecki, and watch out, because here comes that man Wenyu Bo. He really wants a piece of the top 3, and the Chinese ace is going gusto.
我们在此前已经讲到，韩兆恩在比赛的开场阶段是非常的具有冲击力。他在上一圈是完成了对于杰伊科斯泰基的一个超越，并且目前这一圈他在2号弯呢也是完成了防守。现在韩兆恩是上升到了全场领先的位置，杰伊科斯泰基目前是排在第2，加林贝蒂目前就在身后，要来关注到前2名选手的一个缠斗的情况。杰伊科斯泰基这边在4号弯想要尝试对前方的韩兆恩发动进攻，但是目前韩兆恩依然是守住了自己的位置。加林贝蒂目前是排在第3，而文玉博现在也要来尝试对前方的加林贝蒂来发动进攻。目前全场前4位的选手都是有机会在领先集团向冠军来发起冲击。
The back end of these karts are really starting to slide in some of the faster apexes. You can see now that the grip is starting to drop off a lot for the drivers at the sharp end. Jay Kostecki, the back end, starting to rotate on the limit as he tries his best to get his move back on John Hahn, but he has got the opportunity. He wants to pull clear from Andrea Galimberti. He knows that his teammate is going to be a real threat. He looks over his shoulder, knows he's got Galimberti not too far away. Wen, Casagrande and Ma are in the mix there as well. So as they go through turn 4, looking hungry for an overtaking move. Kostecki down the hill, turn 5, short stretch up to 6 and 7, right then left. This is where the back end travels. Watch these karts as they go through. Look at the back end start to kick out. You can see that the grip is starting to drop off. And now John Hahn is holding his nerve, the 11-year-old, same age as Jay Kostecki, two of the youngest men in the field, only just moved up to the world of Junior X30. They're coping in these conditions very well indeed. And with 4 laps to go, Jay Kostecki and John Hahn have now got very little time to get away from Andrea Galimberti.
比赛进入到第6圈，已经是来到了半程阶段。目前韩兆恩依然是处在全场领先的位置，但是杰伊科斯泰基依然是在后方紧追不舍。这边看到进入到4号弯的地方，杀入到内线，杰伊科斯泰基是超过了韩兆恩，上升到领先的位置。后方的安德烈加林贝蒂也是要尝试在这个地方来尝试发动进攻，但是韩兆恩目前依然是守在第2位。安德烈加林贝蒂这边依然是紧随着身前的2位选手，而这边看到文玉博和卡萨格兰德也目前是要尝试来对前方发动进攻，而这边看到应该是安德烈加林贝蒂已经完成了对于韩兆恩的一个超越，但这边韩兆恩已经来到了第1位，韩兆恩重新回到了第1位。这边杰伊科斯泰基似乎他的比赛节奏是出现了一些问题，安德烈加林贝蒂现在是来到了第2位。
Hahn lost out to Kostecki, but Kostecki had the retaliation move from Hahn, and now Galimberti's got in front. Now we've got Wen versus Casagrande behind them, and John Hahn has broken clear. The man from Hong Kong now heads the field as Kostecki is left to battle with his teammate Andrea Galimberti for 2nd position. The DRM Paralin twins now in 2nd and 3rd, the Italian and the Australian. They come off the turn, and this is now where Jay Kostecki is going to need to channel the spirit and the vibes of his cousin, Brody Kostecki, Bathurst 1000 winner 2 years ago. And his cousin has a great opportunity to watch on from third position, charging after Andrea Galimberti. John Hahn, 2 laps to go up front, the man from Hong Kong doing well. But Wenyu Bo and Bo Casagrande are having a great battle as well. Watch out for the Australian. He can make his bid now on Wenyu Bo. He waits for his moment out of 2. Maybe he'll launch on the inside line up towards 4. But is Jake Kostecki going to get his run here on Andrea Galimberti? Through the right, up to the left-hand braking zone. Here comes Casagrande. That'll do nicely.
这一圈我们看到卡萨格兰德是完成了对于文玉博的一个超越，现在是上升到第4的位置，而加林贝蒂和科斯泰基的一个缠斗，目前是让前方的韩兆恩是越跑越远，比赛马上将会进入到最后一圈，而这边我们可以看到韩兆恩现在是已经建立起了一定优势，这边科斯泰基是在后方赛道的后半段是完成了对于加林贝蒂的反超，现在科斯泰基是上升到了第2的位置。
Galimberti and Kostecki are dueling away on the last lap. Here goes Kostecki to the inside line. Oh, they bang wheels. The teammates bang wheels, and that's really hampered Galimberti's progress. Watch for Wenyu Bo. He'll now try and sprint out from behind Casagrande and Galimberti. Wenyu Bo's going to keep his footing. Can he get third from Galimberti? Wenyu Bo holds it. He's there, but Galimberti can't hold it. Wenyu Bo. Third position, great stuff as Mika Slabbert bounces in on Leonardo Mori. Mika Slabbert, the fastest man on track, now up into P7. He could still grab the top 6 before the end here, but John Hahn has checked out in front. Excellent work from him as Galimberti can hold on to second place now. But it's John Hahn all the way. He'll take the checkered flag. There is John Hahn's victory. The man from Hong Kong gets it done. Galimberti has to settle for third position now. Kostecki in second. Wen is third. Galimberti fourth in the end from Casagrande, Fu, Slabbert and Mori. What a drive from Slabbert from the back to P7. But John Hahn, great work from the man from Hong Kong.
杰伊科斯泰基和安德烈加林贝蒂之间的缠斗是让前方的韩兆恩是能够率先冲过终点线，拿下这场第3轮预赛的冠军。而安德烈加林贝蒂在和科斯泰基发生碰撞之后呢，也是让后方的文玉博和卡萨格兰德是有机会来提升名次，而文玉博抓住了机会是上升到第3的位置。最终杰伊科斯泰基是获得第2，文玉博是以第3位冲线，安德烈加林贝蒂最终呢是只能以第4位完赛。 卡萨格兰德是获得第5 ，Bruno Fu 是驾驶197号赛车是取得第6位，米卡斯拉伯特是以第7位完赛，在他身后的是莱奥纳多毛里，杰克逊盖特是获得第9位，而库珀弗里是获得了第10的位置。 那么我们 Junior 青少年组的3轮预赛呢，也是全部的进行完毕。那么所有的 Junior 青少年组的选手们呢，也将会在明天的上午投入到超级预赛的角逐，这也将会是他们最后的争夺正赛32强席位的一个机会。
So Jay Kostecki's run as the unbeaten force in Junior X30 comes to an end in the hands of John Hahn. What an amazing drive from the superstar Hong Kong ace, managed of course by the Fusion Motorsport boys. Let's get a quick word in with John after a fantastic run. John, come and have a quick chat. Yeah, get your helmet off first. Don't worry, mate. Don't worry about it. A very tough race for you there. It was always going to be very, very tricky once the battle really started to take shape, but some excellent moves out there. What was it like from your side?
Yeah, really hard from today. Like yesterday, didn't go really lucky. Was always crashing turn 2. Happily, I did not crash in turn 2 today. Got in the battle for the first and got the chance and then made it to P1. Really happy about it.
When you lost the lead with a few laps to go there, that must have thought, well, hang on a minute, that might be it. That might be all I'm going to get from this one. But the way you bounced back and disappeared with a couple of laps to go, just a really satisfying way to end your heats.
Yeah, thanks. Like in those laps, I was like, no matter, because races like I can't like pull away in like one lap. They must be somewhere. Then I started the battle. They overtook me. Then I got the chance where he missed a bit of the corner. Then overtook him back and then got the lead, get the chance to pull away and then won the race.
What's the confidence like going into tomorrow now knowing that you can dictate the pace from the front and you can get aggressive and make good moves when you need to?
Yeah, I really expect this. Like, we got really much pace, even though we didn't do really much practice. We only did like 2 testing practices, like 8 minutes. Then got to the top 3. I was expecting this. I was really happy about the results. I'm really confident in tomorrow's race. Maybe I'm sure that I can win it tomorrow.
Fantastic work so far, John. Well done.
Thank you very much.
Really good to see John Hahn really come of age in that particular race. Very, very smooth. Never easy in the last heat to maximise what you've got from these races. So many strong performances there at the end to really help these drivers book a decent position going into tomorrow. Right, that's the juniors done until tomorrow morning when they come up for the super heats. Back into the seniors as they get ready for their 4th race.
那么我们在完成了 Junior 青少年组的全部预赛争夺之后呢，我们现在将会把目光再度转回到 Senior 成年组。我们马上将会开启的是第4轮预赛的角逐。那么第1场的预赛呢，将会由 B 组和 E 组的选手们来共同的参与到争夺。这一场比赛呢，将会有25台赛车来参与到比赛的争夺当中。
Things are about to get serious now in the senior X30 category. All of the drivers in the field will now go in to their 4th race of the week. And now, from this moment on, the tyres are going to be absolutely screaming at these drivers. The pressures are going to be at their best if they can get the setup dialed in. But for sure, it's going to be a tough one out there for everybody. Danny Caranini, 7 Rings racing driver, former winner of the IWF back in 2021 at Adria on his home soil. Now, the pressure is on him yet again as he wants to get himself a place in the IWF 5 years after that world title victory. Now, alongside him on the grid, the 261, Kimi Chan, the man who's conquered pretty much everything there is to conquer in the Infinity IAME Series Asia in the past. He was the champion last year in Senior X30. He's been combining his karting campaign with Chinese F4. Now he's going to have a tough one. Zadiev Raikal, the Malaysian, lining up in 3rd position on the grid. Having taken a win earlier this morning, he's definitely in a very good position, and he certainly has good rhythm and pace in that DRM parallel now as a senior at the end of his first full year as a senior competitor. And alongside him on the grid, the very talented Finn on the Madcroc chassis, number 259. It is Otto Pukkanen, with a great opportunity for him to work his way further forward. So Otto Pukkanen looking for a decent run in collaboration with his mechanic Christian Markussen, and of course engineered by the man who promotes and runs the Croc team back in the UK, Simon Parker, travelling all the way here. So a big opportunity for them to continue their work forward. But now we're getting some real powerhouses at the front. Caranini, Chan, Raikal and Pukkanen. Expect the unexpected.
我们 Senior 成年组的 B 组和 E 组的第4轮预赛马上就将开始，在这场比赛当中，我们可以看到头牌发车的2位车手呢，都是目前在预赛积分榜上处在前列的选手。刚为出发的246号车手丹尼卡雷尼尼，在昨天的2轮预赛当中是双双拿下冠军。在他身旁的将会是261号车手陈玉琪。那么陈玉琪呢，同样是有机会向冠军来发起冲击的这样一位选手。他在今年也是在单座方程式的赛事当中有非常不错的表现。那么在第2排起跑的250号车手扎里耶夫雷克尔，在今天上午所进行的第3轮预赛当中。 当中，他是拿到了个人本周末的第一场胜利。而在他身旁的259号芬兰车手奥托皮科宁也是有机会向前列发起冲击。赵子俊将会从第5位来进行起跑，而在他身旁的则是251号车手多比盖尔。赵云清从第7位来起跑，在他身旁的则是238号车手蔡晨阳。邵墨轩将会从第9位来出发，而在他身旁的将会是244号车手沃拉蓬埃姆维昌。看到我们所有的领先选手呢，都是已经进入到赛道的最后一段，进行2列队。我们的比赛马上就将开始。
We can expect some challenges from the third row of the grid as well. Zhao Jian and Toby Gale, two big names who really want to break their way through to the front. Expect some big pressure coming from them in this one. As we get ourselves in the tram lines, this is a really solid and smooth start from this one. Keep an eye on the lady driver, Zhao Yunqing as well. 7th on the grid for her. Let's see what happens as we go into racing. Good start from Caranini, terrible start from the outside line. As now to the inside, Raikal goes with Caranini. Is everybody going to get through? Yes, they just about make it. No big dramas as Zhao Yunqing tries to tag in behind Kimi Chan. Up to 5th position she goes. Bit of an issue there as the drivers work their way out of the hairpin, but it's going to be a tricky one for Kimi Chan to bounce back on Zhao Jian, who is hoping to stretch away in 3rd place. But certainly Danny Caranini losing out early doors to Zadia Raikal. Raikal is now your race leader. The Malaysian has got ahead of the former IWF champion. So this is where Danny Caranini's got to knuckle down and get back into the zone. Big trouble from Zadia Raikal to break in front of him, but Caranini will now be the man in the draft. Can Raikal break away, or will the onslaught come from Caranini going into lap 2?
比赛开始之后，我们可以看到250号车手扎里耶夫雷克尔从第3位出发，他现在已经是过掉了杆位车手丹尼卡雷尼尼。现在扎里耶夫雷克尔是来到全场领先的位置，他看起来是有机会来延续今天上午第3轮预赛的一个良好表现。但是看到现在丹尼卡雷尼尼依然是在后方紧追不舍，马上进入到4号弯角，看一下卡雷尼尼会不会发动进攻，这里还并不够来进行进攻。而在第3位了，可以看到是240号车手赵子俊，而在他身后的则是261号车手陈玉琪。赵云清目前是处在第5的位置，邵墨轩已经是上到了第6位，他是从第9位来进行起跑。而在后方的沃拉蓬埃姆维昌同样呢也是提升了3个名次，目前是处在全场的第7位。
This is a tricky one for 6th position behind the top 5 as Buchanan is doing his best to work his way further forward, but he's got a lot of drivers to race with. Kai Burke getting up the inside line here to make his overtaking move. So Buchanan now P6, battling away there with Kai Burke and Shamo Schwan. Then Wadapong Yamchan is in the mix, trying to dive up the inside line, and that is a very tough move from Quinones. Miguel Quinones is battering away in the top 10. So it's great to see the Dr. Q driver right up there in the hunt. But a lot of big moves is up the inside. That is another decent overtake from Shamo Schwan. So Shamo Schwan looking for his move there on the inside, and he's been able to make that one stick. So as they work their way back up the hill, 255, Shamo Schwan battling away there with Toby Gale and Wadapong Yamchan. Not an easy battle, but certainly drivers go for... Oh, Yamchan! Yamchan dives in on Xiao, and Yamchan and Xiao come together. Shamo Schwan, a big accident for Shamo Schwan as Wadapong Yamchan dives in on the inside line, tries to make the overtaking move happen, and it's disaster as Shamo Schwan is out of this race. What a shame.
在赛道的后段，我们看到2台赛车是发生了碰撞，其中一位选手呢，也现在是已经陷入到了赛道的外侧，看起来应该是邵墨轩，他现在应该是已经离开了赛车，没有办法来完成这场比赛了。而在领先集团，我们目前看到的是扎里耶夫雷克尔，目前依然是处在领先的位置，丹尼卡雷尼尼依然是排在第2位，紧追不舍。比赛进入到了第4轮的这个预赛当中，我们所有的选手们必须要保护好自己的轮胎，那么要把最好的这个轮胎的条件呢留到预赛的之后阶段，并且要来关注到在比赛的整个比赛周末进入到后半程，何时来启用他们的第2套新胎，将最好的这个状态留到最后，将会是非常的关键。而这边我们看到丹尼卡雷尼尼在2号弯内线是完成了超越，现在丹尼卡雷尼尼是重新上到了第1的位置。
So Caranini has been biding his time. He now makes the move on lap 5 to get ahead of Zadia Raikal. Then it is Zhao Ziyun, Kimi Chan, Zhao Yunqing still up there in P5. She's driving beautifully to stay with these top 4 drivers. But Kimi Chan is working with his teammate in the SJM Theodore Prema squad. So Zhao and Chan are now doing their best to close up on Raikal and Caranini. Raikal will be the first one they approach in second, then Danny Caranini. But if they can work together in unison, then they can go after the leaders as Kimi Chan breaks into the 46s, the only driver so far to do so. He makes the bid on Zhao. Come on, mate, let's go and do this. Kimi Chan up to 3rd position, tucking behind. Yes, let's work together, let's go do it. Good teamwork there from Zhao Shijun as Kimi Chan breaks into 3rd position, and now Zadia Vraikal wants to get back on terms with Danny Caranini. If they start squabbling, then Kimi Chan and Zhao Shijun are well placed to capitalize.
我们在这一圈看到2位来自 SJM 德利赛车队 Prima 车队的选手，赵子俊和陈玉琪之间呢是在进行团队的配合。目前陈玉琪呢现在是已经重新回到了第3的位置，2位车手呢将会共同的协作来追击身前的丹尼卡雷尼尼和扎里耶夫雷克尔。现在丹尼卡雷尼尼在比赛的半程依然是处在全场领先的位置，扎里耶夫雷克尔距离他目前是0.2秒的一个差距。陈玉琪和赵子俊看一下2位车手的共同协作有没有办法帮助他们共同来追击身前的2位选手。这边看到丹尼卡雷尼尼进入到了赛道的中段，这边还是没有办法来抛开身后的扎里耶夫雷克尔。雷克尔这边进入到4号弯角，还不足以来发动进攻。后方看到陈玉琪和赵子俊依然是在追击身前的2位选手，而在第5位我们看到赵云清现在也是要受到后方应该是奥特皮科宁的一个进攻。
Don't expect an easy race up front in Senior X30, only a ruthless one as Zadia Vraikal runs in behind Danny Caranini. Kimi Chan really eating up the road in front of him to close back in on the Malaysian, who he's already had several scraps with this season in 2025. As they approach turn 1 again, Kimi Chan at 46.7 now. He really is finding speed in this car. As the SJM Theodore Prema Kart Republic absolutely flying. Double wave yellows in front of them. And that's because we've got an abandoned cart on the inside line approaching turn 3. I'm not entirely sure who that is. I think that is going to be Chan Junji, I think, out of the race there. No, it's Li Mingyi, my apologies. 262, Li Mingyi out of this race. That's very unfortunate for him. So everybody else moves up one. As Raikal is now having to defend big time from Kimi Chan. This isn't what Kimi Chan wants either. He wants to work with Raikal to close up on Danny Caranini. Caranini's going to be an easy victor in this one, unless Kimi Chan and Zadia Vraikal can work together to move forward. Caranini, 46.73 from him. He now sets the fastest lap of the race with clear track in front of him. So what can Kimi Chan do in correlation with Zadia Vraikal? Still double wave yellows for Li Mingyi, but what is Kimi Chan going to be able to do in collaboration with Zadia Vraikal? He doesn't trust him. He goes for the overtake, and into 2nd place goes Kimi Chan. Has he got the time now to catch Caranini?
陈玉琪和赵子俊的一个团队协作，现在能够帮助陈玉琪是追上前方的车手，并且完成对于扎里耶夫雷克尔的超越。现在是上升到第2的位置，而后方我们看到赵子俊呢，也要来对身前的雷克尔来发动进攻。而刚才我们也是看到有一位车手的赛车呢是停在了赛道边，应该是262号李明义的赛车。而这边我们看到第2位的争夺，现在是让前方的丹尼卡雷尼尼稍微能够抛开一定的差距。而这边看到应该是2台 SGM 德利赛车队的车手，目前是在包夹当中的扎里耶夫雷克尔。这边看到丹尼卡雷尼尼已经逐步的拉开和后方3位选手的差距。
It's difficult for the marshals to get to that side of the circuit. That's the problem. We've got a stationary cart on the circuit off the racing line, but it's hard for the marshals to leave their post and get to the cart on that particular part. So it's safer just to wave double wave yellows out of the hairpin and then go green into 3. So for the moment, they're just going to have to leave the cart where it is. Fortunately, it's not causing a big danger. So out of the final hairpin and on to the penultimate lap. Zadia Vraikal getting back on terms with Kimi Chan. He's in the slipstream. Can he go for the move? Kimi Chan not able to catch up to Caranini as quickly as he would like at all. And so as they come out of the hairpin, they're going to have double wave yellows again. Well done to the officials there that are trying their best to move the kart out of position. The marshal has been able to move Li Mingyi's kart off the racetrack. So well done to the team. Raikal dives in on Kimi Chan. P2 for the Malaysian. And now Zhao with an opportunity to try and get into the mix. But Zadia Vraikal knows the victory is gone. He can't catch up to Danny Caranini. So now he's going to have to duel with Kimi Chan. Chan coming back at him as they come off the hairpin. They will now run to the final turn. 1 lap to go. Can Kimi Chan return the favor on Raikal?
比赛进入到最后一圈，我们看到扎里耶夫雷克尔在上一圈是利用机会抓住了机会， 进入到内线来完成了对于应该是对于陈玉琪的超越线，扎里耶夫雷克尔重新回到第2位，而后方的赵子俊现在也是要来尝试对自己的队友陈玉琪来发动进攻。现在2、3、4位3位选手共同进入到4号弯角，扎里耶夫雷克尔是守住了内线，来看一下赵子俊和陈玉琪有没有机会利用走线来完成名次上的提升。
Watch for Zhao. If these two keep defending, Zhao can sprint out from behind both of them and take over the position. Raikal covers Kimi Chan. Watch for Zhao Shijun. Zhao Shijun can sprint out behind both of them. He's going to try one final turn. He's not going to make it. Danny Caranini will get the victory once again. It'll be Zali of Raikal in front of Kimi Chan and Zhao Shijun. B5 for Otto Pukkanen. And then it will be Toby Gale ahead of Zhao Yunqing, who drives very well indeed there for another mature run. Then it's Sachin Yang, who comes home in 8th place in front of Yang Shimo, who does a great job. Oh no, sorry, Miguel Quinones is going to move forward. Then Chang Junhao in front of Yang Shimo and Sera Kojima. Some very tough races all the way through the field, but a brilliant drive again from Danny Caranini. Dominant here today yet again.
丹尼卡雷尼尼是再度体现了自己在 Senior 成年组的一个统治地位。他在 B 组、E 组的第4轮预赛当中是再度拿到了胜利，这也是他个人本周末的第3场预赛的冠军。而扎里耶夫雷克尔在比赛的前半段是有机会向丹尼卡雷尼尼发动进攻，但是在后半段，我们看到2位 SGM 德利赛车队 Prima 车队的2位选手陈玉琪和赵子俊的共同协作呢，是一度帮助陈玉琪是能够超越扎里耶夫雷克尔来到第2位。但是扎里耶夫雷克尔在比赛最后阶段依然是完成了反超，并且最终是以第2位完成本场比赛。陈玉琪最终是收获第3位，赵子俊是获得第4。奥托皮克宁是以第5位完赛，托比盖尔是收获第6，赵云清取得第7位，蔡晨阳是获得第8，萨米恩托以第9位完赛。
Even faster than me when it comes to the post race. Miamiche, that's a bit more like it, isn't it? 3 races from 4 now, so it's looking very strong. What's the pace of the circuit been like compared to yesterday?
For sure, the speed is really good. Just yesterday was quite okay. Today we fixed it a little bit. We will see. For sure it's not easy, but we win 3 heats of 4, and for sure on the ranking we are on the top for the moment.
Having the light rain through the course of the day, making the circuit a little bit tricky, I guess, in places. Is it doing a lot more damage to the tyres, or is it actually stable?
No, was not a lot of rain. And the tires for sure is hard, but it's hard for everyone on the drive because there's many heat, many laps, and probably the asphalt use a lot of the tires. For sure you need to be strong to manage sometimes and to have the tires the best in the better possible way.
There's 1 heat to go for you. There's definitely going to be some strong opposition from the likes of Raikal and Kimi Chan again this afternoon. They're real thorns in the side for you at the start. How do you feel about the last one? Is it going to be straightforward or will it get more tricky?
I don't know how it will be. Possibly it will be rain. We will see. For sure, I'm always a little bit slow in the beginning, but after in the middle and finish of the race, I'm really fast, and I'm trying to manage this.
Fantastic. Good job, Danny.
Thank you. See you.
A really good start to his week. 3 wins out of 4 now with only 1 heat to go for him. We've got 1 heat left of the morning's session. There will be a 4th heat for the final groups after the lunch break and after the kids getting involved in the Sands Cup. Those are the kids from the IAMC Karting Academy. We'll bring you that race a little bit later. But for now, there is just 1 heat to go for the morning session, and that's seniors yet again.
那么稍后呢，我们将会进入到的是 Senior 成年组的 D 组和 F 组的第4轮预赛呢，同时呢，也是我们今天上午所进行的最后一场预赛的较量。那么在这场比赛当中呢，我们可以看到，从杆位出发的将会是269号车手安迪拉特尔，他也是在昨天的个人的第1轮预赛当中呢，是拿到了比赛的胜利。那么这场比赛呢，从杆位出发，对于他来说，也将会是冲击胜利的非常好的一个机会。而在他身旁将会是232号车手的 Danish Ivan Chen， 那么他也将从头排来进行起步呢。对于他来说，发车阶段呢将会是非常的关键，因为他是处在1号弯的外侧来进行起跑。那么在第2排，我们可以看到的是299号车手于家宝，我们本赛季亚米亚洲系列赛 Senior 组别的年度冠军车手。那么这场比赛呢，他将会从1号弯的内侧，也就是第3位来进行发车。在他身旁将会是213号车手的拉斐尔卡马尔。那么同样呢，也是具备冲击冠军实力的这样一位车手呢。不要忘记第3排第5位的294号车手鲁本莫亚洛佩兹，我们去年亚米亚洲总决赛的 Senior 组别的冠军，他在目前在预赛的3轮比赛当中还没有取得过胜利。那么这场比赛对于他来说，一定是希望把冠军当成一个最为主要的目标。
We conclude the morning session with a great opportunity for the drivers in Group D who've had it all go wrong and according to the negative for the first parts of the heat so far. But now they get to start from the inside line rather than from the outside line, which is a big relief for the pole sitter, Andy Rattel, the Frenchman, part of the big challenge forward for him for the DRM racing team. But aboard his trusty Paralin, he's been racing on that chassis with the KBK competition squad out in France, and it's great for him to drop into the same chassis out here in Macau. But alongside him on the grid, Danish Chen. It doesn't take him long to get up to the speed in the senior category. He's been right up at the sharp end, putting on a great turn of speed. And what about this man? For the Explorer factory team, Yu Gapo, the reigning senior champion. Opportunity for the man from Hong Kong to continue his fantastic trajectory. And the 22-year-old knows pretty much everything there is to know about this category and about pushing from the front. But what about this man, Rafael Kamal? Still plenty of good firepower in him. He pulled off some amazing overtakes in the previous heat. Now he's got to continue that trajectory and keep banging in some strong results. 294, big opportunity for Ruben Moya. He's never far away from the top of the dais, and the Spanish charge has come to Macau more than once. This is a big chance now for him to motor forward. And what about the 7 rings driver, the 206? Big opportunity there from Zhao Jilin. Big chance for him as he wants to move his way further forward. So we'll see if there's anything more to come from him. So as everybody gets themselves tightened in and ready for an exciting run, we're going to see some very exciting challenges through the field. Summer Mock there, the 214 from Hong Kong, doing a great job so far under the tutelage of Audrey Leong. 207, doing a grand job. Sun Yi Bei, he's had nothing but bad luck so far this week. He's had speed, but he's not really had decent consistency. It's all fallen away from him at the last. And watch out for Tao Gan as well, the 16-year-old for the SJM Theodore team. 233, that is a big opportunity for Marcos Agostinho, the Macanese driver, who of course is in the Lando Norris chassis, driving a kart that is named after the man who last week became the 35th Formula One world champion. Plenty of pedigree out here in Macau.
那么在前5名之后的选手，我们也是可以看到，从第6位发车的将会是206号选手赵子琳。赵子琳的截止目前，他的最好的预赛的完赛成绩呢，是在昨天第2轮预赛当中所取得的第4位。那么这场比赛呢，他将会从第6位来进行起跑。在他们身后的将会是282号车手贝奇卡吉里，从第7位来发车。在他身旁的将会是210号车手，来自我们中国澳门的本土选手刘思鸾。黄喜正将会驾驶275号赛车从第9位来起跑，在他身旁的将会是214号车手莫生雅。这边我们看到，我们所有的选手们都是已经驶上赛道来进行他们的编队圈。那么考虑到今天整体的这个天气啊，包括赛道温度的情况呢，并不是特别的高，所以所有的选手们呢都必须要利用这一个出场的编队圈的机会呢，来将自己的轮胎进入到一个最佳的工况。那么我们看到领先的选手们呢，已经是来到了赛道的最后一段，选手们必须要来通过2辆并排进入到我们的发车程序。我们今天上午的最后一场预赛，也就是 Senior 成年组 D 组和 F 组的预赛，马上就将开始。
So let's see what this race is going to cook up for the seniors, the last one before the break, and certainly the fourth for each of the drivers across Group D and F. And it's going to put Andy Rattel alongside the very talented and very impressive Danish Chen on the front row of the grid. A couple of drivers coming out of the tram lines early, but they want to make sure that they're in the mix. Ruben Moya determined that he's going to be a false start. So a couple of drivers out of position there. So as a result, going off the road there, the 292, kicking up some dust as they came through off the start-finish line. That was Daeng Ibrahim, the Malaysian driver for CW Motorsport, having a bit of a scary moment going down the straight. But everybody getting themselves ready for what the next heat is going to bring. There's a little bit of dust and dirt. It looks like somebody has lost something off the kart on the way down the straight. Oh, it's just a stone that's actually been moved out of position there. Nothing a big problem. But there is certainly something that's come off one of the karts there at the hairpin. That's further round the course. So we could end up with a technical flag here for somebody. We'll have to keep an eye on it. But certainly the drivers are ready for this restart. Everybody wanting to be in a confident and strong position from the outset. Pole position for Andy Rattel alongside Danish Chen. Then it is you, Kamal, Moya, Zhao, Pachichka and Vernislau, the very talented teenager from Macau. So let's see what she can do in the mix as she tries to work her way back up through this field. Only 15 years of age, one of the youngest in the field. Not the youngest, that of course is Dominic Setyavan. So the competitors working their way through to the lights out and off we go. Up to the first turn, Yukapo with a great start as they work through in a second position. Yukapo already on the attack for Andy Rattel as Ruben Moya slots in third position. We're going right round the outside of Yukapo. Can he keep his foot in? He has to wait. Yuri Bachichka on the inside of Ruben Moya, and there's four karts together in fact, in turn two as they all tangle in. So we could end up with a slowboard. Yuri Bachichka gets through on the inside of Ruben Moya, who gets held up there by Yukapo as the drivers work their way through. Very tough racing, but Yukapo is in P2, chasing after Andy Rattel.
比赛开始之后，我们看到有4位选手是在2号弯的地方是发生了碰撞，但是这并没有影响刚位出发的安迪拉特。安迪拉特现在依然是处在第1的位置，于家宝现在是已经上升到第2位，而鲁本莫亚洛佩兹看起来是受到了后方贝奇卡吉里的一个挑战。现在看到应该是贝奇卡吉里是来到第3，鲁本莫亚洛佩兹是在第4位，赵子琳目前是排在第5，黄喜正排在第6。而我们这边看到4位选手应该是有发生碰撞的一个情况。现在看到这几位选手。 其中有一台赛车呢，依然是处在2号弯的弯心处。
Well, we got a kart in the middle of the road at turn 2, but that was a very scary moment indeed for Danish Chen as he battled his way with Ethan Sito. Rafael Kamal is in the mix there amongst them all as well. But with a kart in the middle of the road at turn 2, that's not particularly what you need. So it's double wave yellows all the way down. But unfortunately, a couple of the drivers were too busy racing to spot the yellow flags. Fortunately, everybody getting away with it, but it was a pretty scary moment nonetheless. The marshals have now cleared at turn 2, which is good to hear. But out in front, Andy Rattel leads, Yukapo second, then Bachichka, Moya, Zhao, Wang, Tian, Chen and Kamal behind Ethan Sito now. So as you can see, there's still double wave yellows down there because the marshals are finding it tricky to get to that point on the course. But they all know now you can't overtake into 2. Up the inside, Moya on Bachichka. He gets the run into third position. And the Czechia racer not able to do much about the Spaniard. Ruben Moya surges through. Now it's time to go after Yukapo on the Explorer.
鲁本莫亚洛佩兹是在这一圈是完成了对于前方贝奇卡吉里的一个超越。鲁本莫亚洛佩兹上一圈是做到48.562的全场最快单圈，他现在是已经来到了第3的位置，并且要向身前的于家宝来发动进攻。而在比赛最前方，我们看到的是安迪拉特尔已经拉开了1.4秒钟的一个差距。上一圈安迪拉特尔也是做出了最快单圈，但是马上鲁本莫亚洛佩兹就是已经做到47.515。而这边我们看到田润成是上到了第5位，黄启正目前排在第6，而赵子琳现在是落到了第7位。
Rattel looks over his shoulder and he knows he's got... Right, Yukapo's decided he's going to let Ruben Moya go because he fancies a chance at using the slipstream. I think he's figured out that Ruben Moya is going to be a little bit quicker than Yukapo at this point of the race. So he actually waves Ruben Moya through in order to get in behind him. He knows that Ruben Moya's faster than him at this moment in time. So if he chases in behind Ruben Moya, he can pick up his own speed and they can go after Andy Rattel up front. But Yuka Bo dropping a little bit more time than I think he wanted to, because now he's got Yuri Vichichka in the mix with him. Tactical there from Yuka Bo, but it may not work out in his favour, as the battle for 5th is led by this man, Tian Runchin. Then it's Wang Zhizheng. Here comes Wang Zhizheng on the inside. Good move there from Wang Zhizheng. He gets through on Tian Runchin. Danish Chen is going wheel to wheel and battling it out with Zhao Jilin. Zhao Jilin is not happy with Danish Chen at all. They bang wheels. Then now Danish Chen will get his move back on the inside. Contact! Contact! And up goes Zhao Jilin. Zhao Jilin skates off sideways, manages to recover, but he's lost a lot of time.
这一圈我们看到应该是赵子麟在和身前的 Danish Chen 在缠斗的过程当中是发生了一个碰撞的情况，他的赛车呢也是一度冲出了赛道，现在是重新回到了比赛当中。而上一圈我们看到于家宝呢也是将鲁本莫亚洛佩兹给放了过去，因为他现在知道前方的洛佩兹有着更快的一个单圈速度。现在鲁本莫亚洛佩兹依然是在追击身前的安迪拉克尔，于家宝呢想尝试跟在洛佩兹的身后获得更好的一个速度。而后方我们看到贝奇卡吉里现在已经是跟到了于家宝的身后。
You cannot afford to let your emotions get the better of you. If somebody gets into the side of you like that, big opportunity there from Bachichka as he duels away for position. Oh no, sorry, that's further back. That is Tianwen Chen battling away with Danish Chen. But you cannot afford to let wheel banging turn into even more aggression. And you can see here that the drivers are starting to let their hearts slip down to their sleeves. They're getting angry out there on the course. But you cannot retaliate. You have to take the racing rulebook into account. Ethan Cito battling away nicely here as he dives up the inside of the 210 of Verny Slough. So he gets ahead of Verny Slough. Ethan Cito driving well up in front of them. That's the move between Rafael Kamal getting on the move of Sun Yibei and trying to chop across him. Sun Yibei is not happy. Rafael Kamal chops across. Come on, man. This is not the way we do racing, but it is the way that Rafael Kamal's going to do it.
全场第8位的争夺也是非常的激烈，看到孙一北和 Rafael Kamal 之间也是一度出现了名次上的交替。现在看到应该是 Rafael Kamal 应该是处在了孙一北的身前，而在领先集团，我们目前看到于家宝上一圈是做出了全场最快单圈47.009，目前呢他是在逐步的抛开身后的贝奇卡吉里，而在第2集团目前看到黄喜正是领先于第2集团，目前他是处在第5位，后方的田润成呢是在上一圈过掉了 Danish Chen， 现在是上到第6 ，Rafael Kamal 现在依然是处在孙一北身前，排在第8。
Great argument going on here then between Rafael Kamal and Sun Yibei. Sun Yibei basically saying, why are you blocking me when we're having this race battle? Rafael Kamal, easy, we're racing. And now here comes Ethan Cito. He fancies his chances on Sun Yibei. Ethan Cito wanted to get the move on the inside line. Kamal boxes him in. Cito could get the undercut maneuver here up the hill as they come into 6, out through 7, kick up on the gradient. And then into 8, the hairpin, then up towards 9, through the drop, and then they go through 10 and 11, this long flowing couple of corners that the drivers essentially treat like it's one. But Yuka Bo has got right back up to Ruben Moya. That's why he wanted to let Moya go through. He's faster in the toe than he is on his own. So he wants to be the man who charges back, and now he dives back in on the inside. Moya gets back through. Yuka Bo in trouble here. He hasn't got the grip out of the corners to finish off the move. And Yuri Bachichka very nearly grabbing 3rd position off the man from Hong Kong. And this is why Yuka Bo let Ruben Moya through. He just doesn't seem to have the grip to sustain the pace up front. In a charge chasing after somebody, he's fast. But when he's on his own, the guard is not giving him what he needs.
第2位的争夺也是非常的激烈，看到于家宝在放过鲁本莫亚洛佩兹之后，并没有快速的追击前方的安迪拉特尔，而在上一圈于家宝想尝试在4号弯完成对于洛佩兹的超越，但是并没有成功。鲁本莫亚洛佩兹现在依然是处在第2的位置，于家宝目前是排在第3，而后方的贝奇卡吉里的速度也是开始提了上来。现在2、3、4位3位选手之间的差距是非常的小，而看到后方排在第5位的黄喜正，上一圈也是做到了全场最快单圈46.827。比赛进入到最后的3圈，看到全场第2位和第3位、第4位3位选手之间的缠斗将会是关注的一个重点。
I'm actually a little concerned about the position of Yuka Bo's front fairing. I think that might be a little bit loose. The leaders go through, and Yuka Bo, the front tip of that front fairing looks a little bit closer to the ground than the 2 drivers in front of him and the man behind him, Yuri Bachichka. But it is hard to tell from a distance. You can't always pick out whether there's a front fairing loose or not. Moya checks over his shoulder. Yukapo is able to catch him so quickly in the toe. So he's able to get himself back on terms, but I don't think anybody's catching on to Rattel in this one. The Frenchman is going to have this race all his own way up front. As Moya runs second, Yukapo is third, Yedibichishka in fourth, and it's Wong, Chen, Kamal, Tian, Sito and Sun. Nuris Gafour is having an amazing drive, by the way. He's worked his way up into 11th position now, just in front of Verdi Slau. Oh, and there's problems further back. Couple of incidents further back. We got a yellow flag in the chicane up at 6 and 7 as we go into the last lap.
比赛进入到最后一圈，我们看到赛道的中段呢，应该是有事故车辆。这边赛会呢，应该是在赛道边有出动双黄旗，有2位选手是发生了碰撞的事故，2位选手呢都是已经提前退出了比赛。
That looks like Tian Rinchen and Ethan Sito have gone out of this race together. Big disaster for those two. So Tian Rinchen and Ethan Sito coming together in the middle of the circuit. That's a very fast part of the course as well. We saw Tian Rinchen walking away from the scene. But we've still got a kart there abandoned on the far side. It's another part of the circuit that's difficult for the marshals to get to. This is the Monaco Grand Prix of kart circuits. As out of the final turn comes Andy Rattel. He's going to cruise to the line, only just ahead of Ruben Moya. Yukapo third from Yedi Bachichka. But very, very tricky there at the end. And big disaster for those two, Tian Rinchen and Ethan Sito, as they join Tao Gan, Chan Wai San and Melvin Shane in the retirements list. But it's Rattel from Moya, Yu, Bachichka, Wong, Chen, Kamal, Sun, Gafour and Verdi Slau in the top 10.
2、3、4位3位选手的争夺，也是让处于领跑的269号车手安迪拉特尔是能够以一个巡航模式完成后半段的比赛，并且最终是能够拿下这场 Senior 成年组 D 组 F 组第4轮预赛的一个胜利。那么这也是他本周末预赛的个人第2胜。鲁本莫扬洛佩兹是在最后阶段是完成了对于于家宝的防守，是最终是拿到了第2的位置，而于家宝最终是收获第3，贝奇卡吉里是获得第4位。黄喜正是以第5位冲过终点线，排在第6的是232号车手 Danish Ivan Chen。拉斐尔卡马尔是获得第7位，孙一北是排在第8。而在比赛的最后阶段，我们看到田润成和 Ethan Sato 之间的一个缠斗呢，也是让2位车手在最后一圈开始前双双出局，这也是让看到280号车手加福最终是获得第9位，而刘思鸾作为中国澳门的本土选手，在这场比赛当中是获得第10位。
Well, some very exciting battles in Senior X30 all the way to the end of the break, but it's Andy Rattel who comes through to the victory after a very easy-going race at the front of the end, Andy. That's one of your easier wins, but certainly in the first couple of laps it wasn't particularly straightforward, was it?
Yeah, in the first 4 laps was hard because we turned the rear tires, so I was sliding a lot, but after was okay.
With the rain that came down earlier today, is the circuit actually quite tricky to get some grip, or is it fairly balanced?
It's the same as yesterday. Igual.
One race to go. There's obviously going to be some interesting battles this afternoon. The tyres will be at their worst in terms of condition. Are you guys confident that there'll still be enough grip?
Yeah, we have grip. Now, if I finish second, third, fourth, it's okay. We just need to save the tyres for tomorrow, for the Super Heat.
Great job so far, mon brave. Good job.
Thank you.
Well, Andy Rattel definitely finishing things off in a very measured way to continue his great form over the course of this Senior X30 week. The tensions are definitely getting stronger here in Macau. We've still got the afternoon session to come. There's one more Heat 4 for the seniors. Then we'll have the second of our heats for the masters, the third of our heats for the cadets, and the 5th and final heat for all of our senior groups, as well as, of course, the Sands Cup. Join us a little bit later when we'll get back to the action here at Macau.
上午的赛事呢，就为各位放送到这里。那么我们在今天的下午还将会进行的是剩余的预赛的角逐。那么我们在午休过后，与各位不见不散。
Welcome to the season finale of the Infinity IAME Series Asia 2025 here in Thailand, the land of smiles, competition from the Bira Kart circuit outside the city of Pattaya. And 12 nations across the Asian peninsula and even from Europe participate for this round.